Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with TMIA. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about TMIA today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit TMIAradio.com.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
If you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For everyone here.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies us. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy out there for the afternoon and cooler than yesterday with a high of 83. Could be a little bit of light patchy rain. 72 overnight tonight and tomorrow. A bit more sunshine. Will be partly cloudy, but fairly warm with highs in the upper 80s and a small chance of a storm. Tomorrow likely to be fairly breezy.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 60 points to 44,851.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown. Bailey is third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. We've got a good one lined up for you. Just to peel back the curtain a little bit, today was the first show that really felt like it's not summertime anymore. The sports are here. Just going through what everybody's talking about, the energy. It feels like we've made it through, right? And it's a small gap for us here in the Triangle, right? From the end of the Canes postseason, which is traditionally a long one, to the beginning of what feels like real football, we've made it. I was watching a Monday Night Football game with teams I don't particularly care about yesterday, and I was invested like it was a Monday Night Football game. We've made it. So with that being said, we've made it to 3 o'clock. It's time for the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
The North Carolina State Wolfpack have announced their captains. Football captains, that is. The captains, the 4 representing the team at the coin toss. Caden Fordham, linebacker. Sean Brown, linebacker. Anthony Carter Jr., most tenured player on the offense, most starts returning, interior offensive lineman. And the young quarterback, C.J. Bailey. Now, there are interesting things about each of these players. Sean Brown being a traditional kind of NC State move. They took a safety, bulked him up a little bit, made him a linebacker. Oh, look, we got a fast linebacker. Funny how that happens. Take a corner, bulk him up a little bit. We got a fast safety. Right? You can do the whole thing all the way down the list. Take a linebacker, bulk him up a little bit. We got a fast edge rusher. Sean Brown, but every time a player does that, it does show some team first mentality, right? You're giving up what you envision to go impact the game, hopefully more positively somewhere else. Caden Fordham is the traditional leader of the defense. We talked to him at ACC kickoff, ACC Media Day. Seemed like somebody that really got what the team is trying to do, and he's also wearing the number 1 they announced today, which goes to the player that exemplifies all the good things about hard work and everything that NC State is doing. They've been doing that since 2014. Caden Fordham, he gets it. The offense is interesting. I think it's a good matchup, right? You have Anthony Carter Jr., who's an offensive lineman, interior offensive lineman, so it's not even like blindside status. Interior offensive lineman, most starts on the team, paired with the quarterback who at the beginning of last year wasn't even the starter, and he comes in with all the pomp and circumstance of the young gunslinger into his second year with the Wolfpack. So you get a little bit of both, right? A little bit of the flash, a little bit of the grind, a little bit of the experience, a little bit of the new high potential. You get a little bit of both. It's a nice group. I hope every coach is honorable and in integrity across every level of football. And right, when you vote on captains, as most schools do, right, you get the little sheet of paper, you get to write down 3 names, you pass it in. A lot of times I assume that coaches, as long as you guys get one of the 5 or 6, 4 of the 5 or 6 guys that I would also say should be captains, we'll go with what you say. But if you pick some knuckleheads, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you voted for the ones I wanted to be captains. Whatever the case is, however they came up with it, I think those are 4 good ones for NC State. I think they'll, call the coin toss well. That's the other thing about captains. Don't have to be a captain to be a leader, right? You just have to be a captain to walk out there for the coin toss. Our coach used to, my high school coach, one of his lines used to be, sometimes they're captains, sometimes they're line leaders. Basically meant, sometimes a captain is an actual leader, sometimes it's the one that stands up front during stretching and doesn't actually do any leading. You can tell, you hope you get the captains that are leaders also. So there you go, that's NC State captains, number 1 in the big 3 at 3. Let's get to number 2.
Number 2.
Panthers had practice earlier today. It was the last padded practice of training camp. And by all accounts, they ended it with some fireworks. There was at least one scrap, end of the practice, I should say. Ike Ekwonu, J.C. Horn, 2 of the higher drafted, 2 of the more quintessential, more necessary to play well players on the team, got after it. And it seems like nobody involved had any problems with it, which is good. It's good. At this point in training camp, if the offense and defense have gone up against each other as often as they have, and you're still like buddies, you're probably not hitting hard enough.
Yeah, you're pretty much sick of each other at this point.
You're sick of each other, and I will say, like, corner to tackle is kind of an unusual one, but I think it's more like representative of offense versus defense. Dave Canales talked to the media about practice and the players towing the line a bit. Here's what Canales had to say.
May have pushed the guys a little bit too hard in the team meeting this morning. They were a little excited today. But, final opportunity in pads for the starting groups who will not be playing Thursday. We had a great move the ball session at the end. It got heated towards the end, kind of going in there. There were some unbelievably physical plays, some hard runs, safeties showing up, some great rushes. And they just kind of are in a competitive moment. Tempers flared. We try to push the guys to the edge. We went a little bit over. But at the same time, that's the edginess we have to play with. When we have these opportunities, we have to be able to play a physical style of football. And sometimes it goes a little too far. I'm going to talk to the guys this afternoon. It's like, okay, now when you throw a punch, you're gone. So then all of a sudden, where are we at? Where's the rest of the team sit, when that happens? So good teachable moment right there, but a fantastic day of work.
It's usually when these become bigger than pushing and shoving at the whistle. When they become bigger, it usually is, it's almost like a clock. It's like, ding, time to go hit someone else now. Ding, time to take the pads off. I don't have a huge problem with it. I was interested in this, though. There were sprints run in the middle of practice by the offense. Offense didn't execute well in their second preseason game. You can listen to our show yesterday on YouTube to hear our thoughts. Not happy. So it was fascinating after the first kind of team offense period that they ran a few gassers, a couple down and backs. Here's Dave Canales on who was the group that made that decision.
That was all player-led. They kind of have been talking to each other, holding each other accountable to the pre-snap stuff that I've been harping on, I'm not a big fan of the gassers. I believe that we practice hard enough. We don't need to do that kind of stuff and try to add more volume to the high intensities that I'm expecting in all phases. But for the guys, it means something to them, and that was their way of trying to address it today. I think it was one. So, I think the message kind of was taken across the board, and there was a good response that way.
I'm torn on this one, and we'll talk about it at 4 o'clock in the Football at 4 segment. I'm torn on this one. I actually really like that the vibe at practice today was a little edgy, little unhappy with how things went. I like that. But there are some things I think that need to be addressed as well. And again, 4 o'clock will be an excellent time for us to have that conversation. But right now, we have to get to number 3.
Number 3.
Danny Dimes, starting quarterback, NFL, once again, everybody. Yeah, that's Daniel Jones, former Duke quarterback. Former Duke quarterback. Former Giants quarterback, playoff quarterback for the Giants. $40 million a year at one point quarterback for the New York Giants. After a hiatus quickly last year with the Minnesota Vikings, bounced his way on over to Indianapolis, and then succinctly beat out Anthony Richardson for the starting job. Shane Steichen, their head coach, made this announcement earlier today.
I'll start off by letting everyone know that Daniel Jones will be our starting quarterback this season. I thought the competition in training camp was great by both of those guys. I thought they both competed really hard, and it was good to see them cheering for each other and battling the way they did. And you guys heard me talk about the consistency, and that's really what I was looking for. And really the operation at the line of scrimmage, the checks, the protection, the ball placement, the completion percentage, I think all that played a factor in it. I think Daniel did a great job doing that, and I think AR has made strides in that area. But I do feel that, he still needs to continue to develop in those areas.
I'm, quite frankly, good for Daniel, right? Happy for Danny Dimes. Way to go. Shout out to Duke football. It's good for any program to, if you make it to those Sunday nighters or whatever, where they're, Daniel Jones, Duke. Like, it's good just to get that publicity. I used to interview once a week at one of my earlier jobs, Old Dominion's athletic director. And they used to say just publicly, every time Taylor Heineke, because he went to ODU, every time Taylor Heineke started and played an NFL game, it was like a 3-hour infomercial for Old Dominion. So Daniel Jones, you got a 3-hour infomercial for as long as you can hold the starting job in Indianapolis for Duke. So good for them. I am shocked by the decision, though. I think the easy, the safe way to play it is to start Anthony Richardson until it is super obvious that he's not the one. Then you can move to the veteran Daniel Jones, who's already been benched and he's been a backup and he can come in and try to right the ship. I think it's more difficult to go from Daniel Jones to Anthony Richardson. So it's Shane Steichen must have, and that offensive staff must have seen something very obvious that says Daniel Jones is the dude.
Yeah, generally you think about if it's somewhat even or close to even, you go with the guy that's been there.
That's been there, guy that's younger, guy that you invested more in. Like, there's a lot of, if it's close on the field, all of these other things kind of lean towards Anthony Richardson. Yeah. So it must not have been close in their evaluation. When they did their grading, Daniel must have won by a decent amount.
Yeah, because if Daniel Jones struggles, you got to turn to the guy that you chose not to play. And for him, it's like, oh, now you're going to come to me? You already chose against me.
And Anthony Richardson
human nature
is still a guy that needs reps.
Yeah.
Like, when he was drafted, it was obvious he needs reps. So going to him later in the season, it's going to be like, great, now you're just later in the season and he still is at the same amount of game reps that he was at the beginning of the year. It's a weird decision. I was not expecting it, but it's still good for Duke and good for Daniel Jones. Shout out to the Blue Devils. And that is the Big Three at 3. Speaking of quarterbacks, it is a QB Tuesday, a quarterback Tuesday. So we're going to look at the teams we cover, college, the Panthers, and simply assign them a pass or fail for how they are handling their quarterbacks this offseason and in the recent history. Stick around.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
A torn ACL, stress fracture, aching back, a hip that's had it, life on hold, and all you want is to get it back. Enter Wake Orthopedics. Our fellowship-trained orthopedists do it all. General, sports, pediatric, joint replacement, fractures, spine, prevention, advanced diagnostics, progressive treatments, minimally invasive procedures, surgeries, and more. Visit wakemed.org/wakeortho and get back your life.
Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Why world-class? Because it has a crisp and superior taste. That's world-class. It has only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. That's very world-class. So, if I'm seen drinking it by association, am I world-class? Oh yeah, Heineken Silver, world-class light beer with only 2.9 carbs and 95 calories. Must be 21 plus to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly.
2 running back set. Bailey keeps. Bailey dives to the end zone. Touchdown! NC State! And now the fireworks go off on time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I am fascinated, some might say obsessed, with quarterback development. And it's partially because it is an inexact science, right? It's not like training to run the 100-meter dash where, you got form and, okay, you need to stay low out of the blocks and then you enter your drive phase and all. Like it's not that, right? There's different things for different players and what might I almost went into a full quote of the Different Strokes theme song. What might be right for you might not be right for some, right? It's like the difference. But I do think whether you're like, you get a vibe if you're just watching of like, they're doing it right, they're doing it wrong. And I thought that kind of led us to a little pass-fail conversation here, a little go, no go. Right? We're not giving grades. It's not A+. Did they get a 96.5 or a 95? No, it's did they pass or did they not? Pass-fail for the 3 ACC teams in the Triangle and the Carolina Panthers for how they are handling the quarterback position with the current quarterbacks they have, right? And Panthers don't get like a gold star for like Cam Newton was pretty good. No, it's the ones on their roster that they are developing right now because they are all kind of still developing young quarterbacks. Dennis, because I always put it on you, so I never get accused of being, oh, you always do that team first. We have the 3 ACC teams in the Triangle and the Panthers. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's see. We did NC State and UNC.
This is why I go to Dennis, because he keeps like a log of what we started with last time.
Well, no, we started the show with NC State. We also had a Duke quarterback in there. So let's go ahead and go with North Carolina, since we haven't done North Carolina yet today.
North Carolina. Now, I will call this North Carolina's development of Gio Lopez / other. because I think it's Gio Lopez that's going to be the starter, but they haven't named him, so I want to acknowledge that because that's part of it. Pass-fail for how they're developing Gio Lopez slash other. I got to go fail. And I'm going to explain why. What Gio Lopez is trying to do isn't easy. Even if you gave him all of the compliments and confidence in the world, South Alabama to the ACC ain't easy. That's a big jump for the best of the best, right? And to go right into TCU week 1, that's not an easy task.
Especially since he wasn't around for spring ball either.
Wasn't around for spring ball. Even the coaches that were around for spring ball are still implementing new offenses and everything. So it's not even like, he can sit down and ask any of his teammates, what do we do on this play? Because they're going like, oh, geez, better ask coach. I don't know. New offense, new scheme, new coaches, the Belichick circus and whatever you want to make of that is a lot to swirl around in the head of a young guy trying to jump from South Alabama to UNC. He's trying to jump into the shoes that have recently been filled by Howell and May and some really good college quarterbacks / NFL quarterbacks. You don't get gold stars for putting your quarterback through like trials and tribulations if all you're doing is making his job more difficult. If they would have gotten behind Gio Lopez a bit earlier, even if you went into camp with a competition, but a week or two in, all right, it's been settled that this is our guy. I think this grade could be higher, but for right now, it's a fail because I don't think he's going to be as ready as he could be week 1. Next, Dennis, where are we going?
Let's go to Duke.
Duke, I'm giving a pass. Darian Mensah is actually in a similar situation to Gio Lopez, aside from a few key factors. Got there earlier. So he's had the spring, he's had all training or all summer where he was taking his receivers on vacations / workout trips to Tampa. He's had a bit more time, and Manny Diaz has made no bones about it. He and Mensah are in lockstep with what they're looking for from each other, right? With why they're put together. And maybe it's the financial commitment, right? Reportedly about double for Mensah than Gio Lopez at UNC from an NIL collective per year standpoint. But to me, Darian Mensah has been put in a much better situation to handle another tough transition, right? Going from Tulane to Duke is a big jump as well. From Tulane to the ACC, facing ACC defenses is a big jump as well. I just think Mensah has been put in a better situation to handle it. Now, does that say he's going to walk on water starting with game 1? No, but I think if he does struggle, Duke can look around and know they did as much as they could to fill his wings and sails with everything he needed to have success, even if he struggles a bit. All right, we got State and Carolina, meaning the Panthers next. Where do you want to roll, Dennis?
Let's stick college. Go State.
I think this is a pass, and I think they're doing a great job with CJ Bailey. Again, does that mean he's gonna walk on water week 1? That remains to be seen. But I love how they've handled it from the beginning, going back to last year. Right? They didn't think he was ready to play. They had a veteran that they wanted to be their starter. Injury happens. He's put into the lineup. And from that point forward, there was no hesitation, right? It was 10 toes down, C.J. Bailey's our guy. He had some games with some turnovers. Obviously, they weren't happy about it, but it was still supportive in their constructive criticism. They still encouraged him to use his physical gifts. Now coming into this year, this whole offseason has been about making C.J. Bailey the guy, right? They didn't go out and recruit competition. They didn't go, well, actually, now we're going to open up the starting job and see who wins it. No, it's been all about rallying behind him and letting him put his fingerprints on the offense, even all the way down to they felt a change was necessary at the coordinator position, and they stayed internal. That's going to keep the terminology the same. He's not going to have to go learn a new language, not going to have to call all the formations, whatever the new coordinator wants to call them. It's thinking of the young quarterback in that transition to Kurt Roper.
And that relationship's there. That's
already because he's been around. Yeah. And then on top of that, today they named him a captain.
Yep.
Which is like the reason why I like that is because for lack of a better term, it is kind of pointless. But it's just something that I promise you matters, right? In the history, like if he goes on to be an all-ACC quarterback, no one's going to, the top thing on his resume is going to be like team captain. But at this point in the season, August 19th, naming him captain gives him just a little bit more ownership over the team as he goes into the starting group. Really like what they've done this is all mental, by the way. This is all just the between the ears personality side of quarterbacks. We haven't really talked about, like, did they surround him with an offensive line? Did they give him weapons? Are they calling quarterback friendly plays? We haven't done any of that. It's just the psychology part of quarterback. I think they get a really, really good job at. And that leaves the Carolina Panthers. So this one's kind of easy for me. It's a fail. From day one, Bryce Young has had the cards stacked against him, right? From a kind of supporting cast standpoint, right? It was not great from the beginning. The changing of coordinators, the changing of play callers, the changing of head coach, the short leash with the new head coach, the not naming him the starter week to week, then coming into this year, obviously I've voiced my concerns with how they've handled the preseason and not giving him a chance to go back out there. I think there's trust issues. I think sometimes they don't recognize when he needs to see one go through the hoop, as I say, like needs to get a free throw or a layup. Instead, they keep calling, double screens for him to shoot threes. And it's like, dude, the guy's cold. Let him see one go through the hoop one time. Meaning they're calling difficult plays, hard to execute plays, when really he just needs a breather play. I know he's going into year 3, and right now it seems like they're treating Bryce Young as a quarterback that had a very quarterback situation through years 1 and 2. Very quarterback-friendly situation through years 1 and 2, in which case then at year 3 you are testing his boundaries, right? You're seeing what he can handle. It's if he had training wheels on for the first 2 years, then I think year 3 is a year where, okay, yeah, let's take off the training wheels. Let's see if he can ride on his own a little bit here. But in year 1 and year 2, they had him on a unicycle, and he fell every time. And now they're going, all right, let's put him on a bike with no training wheels. And it's like, he still has, you got to confuse him. If they handled it better from the first day he was a Panther, then I think maybe some of the things they're doing now would make sense. But through no fault of Canales and Morgan, right, it was the previous regime, he's been pushed and pulled in every direction from the very, very beginning, which means now, and last year, you probably should have reversed a few steps and redid some foundation laying that I just haven't seen with Bryce yet.
Yeah, it's been straight from day one. Hey, let's get rid of your best wide receiver. Let's go ahead and try and manufacture and piece together, as David Tepper would say, this all-star coaching staff, and it all just fell apart. Mm-hmm. All just fell apart.
And I'm seeing now, right, because the Trey Hendrickson news yesterday that we talked about, the Panthers were one of a few teams that called about Trey Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. I saw a few people on social media saying, like, here's the list of players that would be untouchable in a Hendrickson trade. And it's J.C. Horn, Derek Brown, maybe Tedero McMillan, right, depending on which fan said what. And I read it and I thought, I wish somebody would have put that list together when they traded for Bryce, when they traded for that number 1 overall pick, and put DJ Moore on there. Mm-hmm. And just told the Bears, like, we can work out where you get a huge compensation package in this trade, but we can't trade away the quarterback-friendly part of our offense as we trade for our young quarterback, because it's just not understanding. Occasionally, a young quarterback needs a guy that makes you right? Occasionally, the young quarterback needs a guy that beats his man quick. Occasionally, to keep a quarterback-friendly offense intact, you need your number 1 wide receiver. They traded him away in acquiring Bryce, which just got everything off on the wrong foot. He still might develop. I'm not saying he won't. But I'm saying if he doesn't, part of me will always go, well, did he ever really have a chance? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up. But first, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. I actually had an appointment earlier this afternoon, a 3-week follow-up at Raleigh Weight Loss Center, actually about 3 hours ago. My body fat percentage has dropped by nearly 3 percentage points in 3 weeks. It's a significant drop. That, along with the visceral fat in my body, has all dropped significantly in the last 3 weeks. I've dropped 25 pounds in the last 3 weeks, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. So much about my body has improved, so much about all the other things, other than just my weight, have gotten better. I'm sleeping better, my resting heart rate's better, I'm not snoring as much as night, according to my girlfriend. So many things about my aspects of my life. I just have more energy. Everything about my life physically has gotten better thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center and the weight that I've lost. And this goes for anybody. If you're struggling with weight, especially as you get older in age, it's just your metabolism doesn't run the way it used to. And that's the whole point of Raleigh Weight Loss Center. It's all about resetting your metabolism in a natural way. It's not steroids. We're not doing HGH. We're not juicing over here. We're not doing injections or shots. No side effects along those lines. It's just simply resetting your metabolism so you yourself are burning that fat off your body. I know frustration can kick in when you feel like you're doing the right stuff. Trust me, I've been there. This is why you got to give Raleigh Weight Loss Center a call. And by the way, Raleigh Weight Loss Center, make sure you pay attention to this. Raleigh Weight Loss Center is having a huge end of summer sale right now through August 29th, where they're offering up to 20% off. Again, 20% off now through August 29th. So it's the lowest prices of the year on the amazing Raleigh weight loss program. Trust me, in 3 weeks, I've dropped 25 pounds. That's just real numbers, folks. So schedule your free consultation today by calling 919-897-7506. Again, I'll give you the number, 919-897-7506, or visit them online, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Again, 919-897-7506, RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
When it comes to restoring cars, Diego's got skills. And with Total Wireless in his corner, the whole world sees them. With the dual camera system on his new iPhone 13, he can take amazing car photos and post them on the fly with super fast 5G, and even turn this hobby into a full-time gig. His claim to fame? Claiming iPhone 13 with 5G on us. Get iPhone 13 with 5G on us when you switch to the Total 5G or 5G Plus Unlimited 3-month plan. Total Wireless, in your corner. For limited time while supplies last. Valid in store. Device taxes and fees may apply. Requires port in and ID verification. Restrictions apply.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Nikishin back in his own zone, makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Nikishin looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll backhand one up Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. By the way, it's back, everybody. Second annual Numbers Game Live, just a couple days away now. It's this Thursday, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Thursday, August 21st. We will gather with all the perfect score contestants from the Numbers Game over roughly the last 12 months. at the Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. And we will find out who the greatest numbers game champion of them all actually is. We'll set up a round-by-round battle against the clock and the other contestants until we have just one numbers game contestant remaining. You can watch along as we crown our champion live on YouTube. Go to our 99.9 The Fan YouTube. Subscribe, all those sorts of things to make sure you don't miss it. Special thanks to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company, for supplying the sights and sounds of Numbers Game Live August 21st. That's this Thursday. At the moment right now, it is time for the Dean's List. Class is in session. Who in the college sports world, directly or indirectly, deserves a few extra accolades? I'll tell you who. NC Central football gets to be on the Dean's List for today. They play week 0 this Saturday versus Southern University, 7:30 p.m. on ABC, by the way. Getting the main treatment there. Now that the Week 2 NFL preseason is done, they had Monday Night Football last night between the Bengals and the Commanders, and we're on to this next week. NC Central is one of the premier options this weekend. Week 0, all eyes on NC Central, which is good for the program, right? Showcase what you do, get yourself on as big a stage as possible, and also, you don't have to wait as long as everybody else for football season.
No, you don't.
You get a week jump. Your fans should be thanking you. Thus, thank you, Dean's List, NC Central, and I guess Southern University, but we ride with Central. 7:30 p.m. on ABC Saturday. That's prime real estate right there. Dennis, do you have something you'd like to throw on here?
I do, actually. I want to throw on to the Dean's List NC State hockey. So the outdoor NC State club hockey team will play Alabama at Charlotte's Truist Field, which is right there next to Bank of America Stadium. It's where the Charlotte Knights play, which is the AAA team. But they're playing the Outdoor Classic. So it's going to be the NC State Wolfpack taking on Alabama. It's the Outdoor Classic. So there's always an outdoor game there at the at Truist Field there in Charlotte, where the Charlotte Checkers play. But that game is going to be on Saturday, November 15th at Truist Field, the Outdoor Classic, which is kind of cool. I think in the past they've had App State has played, their club teams played in that game as well. So I think it's kind of cool that NC State's going to be part of it too.
And Alabama?
And Alabama. Yeah, both Division I club teams.
Interesting. It's you know what, this is probably what happens elsewhere, because my instinct is to go like Alabama, and how can you be good at Alabama hockey in Alabama? But then I'm like, wait a second, we're in North Carolina, and that's probably what the super northern areas say about us, and then we get really mad about it. So I'm gonna withhold from falling to that temptation.
So back in 2024, they actually hosted club teams from Duke, Vanderbilt, UNC Charlotte, App State, NC State, South Carolina. Then eventually UNC's club team played Virginia Tech a couple months later. So again, I think it's kind of cool because I think they actually make the park where where they put the rink and everything open for public skating in the wintertime and stuff, which is really, really cool. But I think it's kind of neat. I've never actually got a chance to play hockey outdoors. I just never have. I've skated outdoors.
No pond hockey?
No, I never did. I got to skate around at Carter Finley when they had the rink there for the Stadium Series game. I got to skate around for that, but never actually got to play. I think it's got to be really cool to play an outdoor game like this.
They make the Dean's List. Who else makes the Dean's List? I have a few here in front of me. Let's roll with NC State football. The City of Oaks uniforms are actually pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen these. They're rolling them out for the opener against ECU.
We talked about them last week when they rolled out. But yeah, I like the script on the NC State. Yeah. I think it's a really neat little touch.
I'm not, as I've said a bunch, I'm not a huge uniform guy. I don't once I watch a game, as long as I know what color your main jersey is, so I know which team is different, I'm good. But I do think the athletes get really excited for alternate jerseys. So if you're not doing it, you're just robbing your students, your athletes of a little bit of hype. So their first game, as if it needed more buzz against ECU following their bowl game and the extracurricular scuffles they got into last year. Throw on a fresh jersey, little look good, feel good, play good action. It's not bad. By the way, Blake Harrell, the head coach of ECU, will be on our show at 5:30 today.
That he will.
Maybe we'll talk to him about that opener and the emotions going into it. That's what we call a tease. Oh, and then also from NC State, Caden Fordham, NC State linebacker. He's been awarded the number 1 jersey, which since 2014 for NC State Wolfpack football, that coveted jersey number has been awarded to the Wolfpack player who exhibits elite work ethic and practice and training habits while also serving as an exemplary leader. I think it's cool when a number means something in an organization. I've covered Syracuse professionally. Like in my career, Syracuse has 44, which was Ernie Davis and Floyd Little, and some of the best running backs in the history of Jim Brown in the history of college football. Wore 44, huge honor for them. Hasn't been worn in a while.
22 for lacrosse at Syracuse.
Similarly?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I've covered Virginia Tech, which 25 under Frank Beamer was passed to whoever was game to game, whoever was the best special team performer the week before, which is kind of cool. It's a Beamer ball, special teams. So I like when a number represents something. So shout out to Caden Fordham. And last one here. One of State's rivals, North Carolina Tar Heels football. Did you watch the Rich Eisen Sports Center last night?
I did not get a chance to fully watch that. I
Okay.
did see a couple clips, especially his thing with Stuart Scott.
Yeah, it was really cool. First of all, Rich Eisen is going to be back on ESPN networks with some agreement with his show and everything else. But for 7 years in the early 2000s, he was a Sports Center anchor. Like, that's where I got to know him. And so now that he's back in partnership with ESPN, last night after Monday Night Football, they did a throwback. Same graphics, same tempo, same everything from like a 2003 Sports Center, which was very nostalgic, but with the highlights from like sports that happened yesterday. So it was kind of a cool throwback. But he did, as you mentioned, hit the Stuart Scott, his old Sports Center co-host, legendary broadcaster Stuart Scott. Booyah! Right? And cooler than I start talking Stuart Scott. You just want to start throwing out catchphrases that he made cool that we can't pull off, but he was so cool that it did. Cooler than the other side of the pillow. Your mama wears army boots. Like all of them, right? But he gave a tribute to his late good friend and co-host. And during his tribute, he started throwing out things that he wishes he could have talked about with Stuart Scott on the air. And one of them was, what does he think about Belichick being the head coach of his beloved Tar Heels? Because Stuart Scott, obviously being a North Carolina alum, diehard, it was, didn't hide it. One of the first kind of studio broadcasters to not be, completely objective. Now, like he rode with the Tar Heels. And it just reminded me of like how big this kind of Bill Belichick news is. That it's like, if Stuart Scott was around, everybody would be going to him with, what do you think of Belichick being at the Tar Heels? Have you been to camp? Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you talked to him? Is he in your speed dial? Stu, tell me. And it's like, that's kind of what UNC wanted, right? They wanted it to be the big deal. So North Carolina Tar Heels football, in honor of Stuart Scott and the big news that they've created this offseason, gets on the Dean's List. And it did make me nostalgic for, 2004 Sports Center before school, waiting for the bus. And let me see the not top 10 on a Friday. Let's go. The thing on the side that tells you what game highlights are coming up next. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's the Dean's List. I know football season is knocking on our door, but hockey. Carolina Hurricanes have an off-season of news as well. Alexander Nikishin, the best defenseman that wasn't in the NHL, that is now in the NHL with the Carolina Hurricanes, spoke to a Russian media outlet about his offseason and his reactions to his first season with the Canes, first cup of coffee with the Canes. We have those quotes coming your way. But first, speaking of quotes, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. If you're looking for a quote on a mortgage, call up Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. And here's the best part about that estimate, right? When they tell you what your rate would be, and when they tell you what your monthly payment would be, there's no hidden fees and costs. There's no closing costs, which always kind of, every time I've bought a house and closing costs were involved, it kind of smacks you in the face, right? You do all this budgeting. Here's what we can afford. Here's what we can afford monthly. This is a big investment, right? Usually your house is your biggest investment if you're not super duper rich. And then you walk into that area, which you think it's going to be fun. I'm going to sign my name 4,000 times, and then I'm going to own a house, me and my wife. This is exciting. And then they're like, by the way, you have that big old check for closing costs and fees? And you're like, oh, this is much less fun. This is a check signature that I'm not going to enjoy as much. But it is what it is, unless you go to Miller Lending and use a no-cost loan, something that Gordon's been doing since 1987 and Miller Lending has been doing since they arrived here in the Triangle. No third-party fees. Zero means zero at Miller Lending. You just walk up and you have the fun part, right? You sign up with your monthly payment. You know what it is. Bada boom, bada bang. Sign your name 4,000 times. Rough estimate. And you walk out of there a homeowner without that closing cost smacking you in the face. It really, the hidden costs and fees, they're not fun. So they eliminated them. Think about that. Give them a call to learn more. 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377. Or visit them online at millerlending.com. That's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender. NMLS number 250-2146. What did Alexander Nikishin say about his first cup of coffee in the postseason with the Carolina Hurricanes? I'll give you his direct words coming up next.
So, you found the one and want to get married? Next step, you need the ring. And not just any ring. The perfect engagement sparkle that exemplifies your love. Bailey's Fine Jewelry is here to help. Our diamond experts, wide selection of high-quality diamonds, and financing make saying I do easy. We guarantee you'll love the ring or your money back. You're invited to see why Bailey's has been voted best place to buy your diamonds. Visit us today in-store or at baileybox.com to find out more.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch-off from the North Carolina Education Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $200,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. Welcome to Jurassic Park. Adventure awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning are 1 in 4.28. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country. Here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and a $6 Bloody Mary on Sunday. Dine in, carry out, get it delivered. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
Alexander Barkov trying to turn. Slavin takes him down to the ice neatly. Schmidt will keep it in across for Bolinski's. His shot through traffic. Rebound was available as it was off the catching glove of Anderson.
What a play by Slavin. Saved a goal after being physical on Barkov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have some real, just quintessential, stereotypical professional sports offseason stuff to get to for the Carolina Hurricanes. We have a list, a ranking to debate, and we have an offseason interview about how a player is improving in the offseason. These are right down the middle offseason pieces of news. We'll start with the ranking. NHL Network put out their list of top 20 defensemen. Jacob Slavin, 8th. Are we good with that? Or is that fair? Is that because I've seen him lower on some lists, so I think you got to give him a little credit. I still don't think it's high enough. But how upset, how livid are we that he's not even according to NHL Network, top 5 defenseman in the NHL? Because that's where I'd probably put about 5.
Yeah, because again, he doesn't have the offensive production that some of these other guys have.
He doesn't have the offensive production, but elite. I saw some stats yesterday on how few penalties he takes, and it's
absurd.
It's unbelievable that he can be as effective as he is at takeaways and everything without drawing the whistle as unbelievably as he does, which is just another thing he does super elite, right? So I think it's getting better. That's what I'll say. I think slowly the league is turning around on Jacob Slavin from kind of, oh, yeah, there he is, to he's really gosh darn good. I told you that I talked over the weekend at the beach with some of my wife's family that's Capitals fans, and we talked about the postseason series, and they both just went like, no idea how good Slavin was until then. I'm like, well, he hasn't been hiding. But I'm glad, better late than never. I'm glad you came around. But eighth is moving in the right direction. I'll put it that way. Dennis, anything else you'd like to add about eighth?
No, I think it's respectable that he's obviously getting top 10 recognition for sure.
Now, I hope that he is able to fight through language barriers and everything else to pass along all of his hard-earned wisdom to one young blue liner on the Carolina Hurricanes, Alexander Nikishin. And that will be more easily done this year. So Alexander Nikishin spoke to RG.org. This is a Russian sports outlet. I read a lot of RG.org when we were trying to figure out when Alexander Nikishin was going to be coming to North America. So I feel friendly with them just from their coverage of Alexander Nikishin. I think Nikishin gets it, is my take. I think he is somebody that understands the bigger picture. He is somebody that will fit in with Carolina, and I don't want to overstate that, because when you are somebody as hyped as he is, it's real easy to start to quote Outcast, start thinking that your waste smells like roses, right? It's real easy to start thinking that your bleep doesn't stink. Just these couple of quotes here on speaking English, right? Because obviously he's coming from Russia. He played in the KHL, grew up in Russia, speaks Russian, and when he was brought over to North America to play for the Canes last year, part of the discussion was, can you trust him out there when he can't communicate as well with his teammates and the coaches and everybody else? He was quoted, and I'll read this. Obviously, it's through translation, but rg.org. The toughest part, of course, is the language. That's the main challenge. I spent the whole summer studying English, and even though I'm far from fluent, I've made progress. My vocabulary has improved. I still can't give an interview in English, but I can communicate with the guys much more comfortably now. First of all, get it. I cannot speak another language, and I can't imagine what it would be like to have to communicate in a fast-moving sport like hockey with somebody who doesn't speak my language. I couldn't imagine what it's like to have to communicate with somebody in a slow-moving sport like baseball with somebody that doesn't speak my language. But here's the part that's interesting. A lot of this interview centered around the similarities between Ivan Demidov of Montreal and Nikishin's kind of first experience in the NHL, because the timing was similar, Demidov being another super highly rated Russian prospect. He said, Nikishin, my English was worse than Vanya's, which that's Demidov. He prepared more. He studied the language seriously while I took it easier. I regretted that a bit, but the guys helped me. That's big for like an early 20s guy, thinks he's going to come over and play immediate minutes in the NHL, to say like, no, I regret that. That's something I didn't do that someone else did, and they were more prepared. That's cool. I like that. Then he talked about watching and not playing for a while at first, because if you recall, he was brought over, he was in North America, and then the watch happened. When is he going to get the chance? When is he going to play? When is he going to debut? He said, of course, I studied a lot, how the team defends, how they attack, but watching and playing are two very different things. I understood why I wasn't in the lineup right away. The roster was set, the guys had played all season, and I had just arrived. My job was to prepare and wait for an opportunity. It came because of injuries and the need for replacements. Naturally, I wanted to play rather than just practice, but I knew this was the way it would go. End quote. I mean, this is the thing I want to hear from a guy. how the team defends, it's two very different things, watching and studying versus playing, which anybody will tell you. And I've never played hockey at a competitive level. I've played pickup a few times, but people that I trust that have done it at the highest level will tell you that the Cane system is not easy, right? It's not the most transitioning from other systems to this one is like cake deal. To use the language analogy, right? People always say once you know Spanish, Italian can come pretty easy, right? It's like a nice little on-ramp. Meanwhile, once you know Spanish, doesn't help you very much with Chinese, right? So it's kind of like going to the Cane system is not going from Spanish to Italian. It's going from Spanish to Chinese, right? You got to learn, and it is very different watching it on tape or watching it from the box and from the booth and then going down there and doing it. And he understood that. And he understood every day was a chance for him to get more prepared for when his number was called. Then injuries happened, and he went out there and kind of on his second opportunity, he got in there and made pretty darn good out of it. Last quote I'll read for you here. On looking towards this season, right? So this is about the offseason and getting ready. I want to train properly. My first NHL experience was a lesson. I realized what I need to work on. Now it will be easier because I already know the guys, the staff, the locker room, how practices go. I can't wait for the season, but preparation is the key. I want to be as useful for the team as possible without being the weak link. End quote. First of all, I love a guy that loves to prepare, right? You can't just love games, got to love practice. I also love a guy that's a little bit fearful, right? It strikes me as... right, the best competitors almost all say, I hate to lose more than I love winning. I want to be useful, like, without being the weak link. When you look at the blue line for the Canes, you could be pretty good and be considered, like, on the weak pairing. You know what I mean? You could be pretty good and look around and go, gosh, we have the worst advanced analytics of any pair on the blue line. If he and his pair, whoever it ends up being, we have to figure out what that's going to be once the season starts. He and his pair, if they're not the weak link on that blue line, they're pretty darn good. I'm obviously hyped up for Nikishin just based on what every expert and prospect evaluator has told us about how good he's been in the KHL and the prodigious skill set, and he's 6'4", 215, and he can quarterback power plays and everything else. Like I'm excited for that, but I also like when it seems like a guy gets it. I think he's going to fit in, and I think it's going to work. And then you know what's going to happen next. He's going to have to get paid, but we can talk about that for another day.
Yeah, there's a little time for that.
Just about everybody else is locked up. He's kind of next on the list for the Canes as far as who gets the money.
Yeah, I think it's pretty mature of him to say, hey, I'm coming here. It's like, I don't want to be the weak link. I don't want to screw things up, especially coming in last year being like, hey, look, you guys are going through this all season together. I can't just step in and just be like, why am I not skating top pair? I think it's pretty mature of a young guy.
Even if he doesn't believe everything he said, it's the right thing to say.
Sure.
And eventually, right, the authenticity is the word I'm looking for. Hopefully will come through. But, I regret I didn't know English better coming in. That right there is a big step. I don't want to be the weak link. I understand why I wasn't playing. It's a maturity, right? And maybe that comes with he's played a lot of professional hockey against grown men over there in Russia. So maybe that's it, right? They talk about this in basketball. When the Europeans come over, they just feel more mature than the guys that are jumping right out of AAU in 1 year of college. So maybe that's it, right? He's like, no, I've been playing with 30-year-olds for a while. I'm not going to play around with expectations. I know what it is at the top levels of hockey. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football at 4 coming up next. Can Dave Canales learn something from old Ron Rivera? I think so. Next.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone. Available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 Bird Dogs for just $5 or 2 Bird Dog Combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies out there this afternoon. Cool 83 degrees and the chance of a little patchy light rain. 72 overnight tonight. For tomorrow, Aaron will be off the coast. We won't see much of an impact here. It'll be partly cloudy with a high of 88, but a bit breezy.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 1 point. 1 point to 44,913.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
Football at 4 here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. By the way, a week from right now, a week from 4 o'clock Tuesday, will be 53-man roster deadline time.
Ah, yes.
So that's when the Panthers will have to have their initial 53-man roster taken care of. Then waiver claims happen, and there'll be a little bit of shuffling at the end of the roster. But we'll know who the main core is at a few positions for the Carolina Panthers at this time next week. Just to let you know. In the meantime, what can Carolina Panthers head coach Dave Canales perhaps learn from Ron Rivera? Now, Ron Rivera was not a perfect coach when he was with the Carolina Panthers, not a perfect coach when he was with Washington. He is probably not a perfect GM for the Cal Bears at the moment. But there were things he did well. You could argue, coached the best team in the history of the Carolina Panthers. One of two that are in the argument, right? The two that have made the postseason. And it's the one he coached started 14-0 and had an MVP. So it's a pretty good argument coming on the 2015 Panthers side of it.
Yeah, that 2015 is the best.
So if you look at the 2015 Panthers, I thought this was interesting, and it went viral. A few different people posted it. After the without being too mean, but I guess I don't know why I'm going to try to sugarcoat it, the poor performance from the Panthers in Game 2 of the preseason against Houston, and poor might not be aggressive enough, particularly when you're talking about the starting offense that had 2 drives, 7 plays, including 1 called back for penalty, barely any yards and 2 3-and-outs. Going back to last year, I don't know what it looks like when Dave Canales gets mad. And I think something, or angry or disappointed or furious or any of the synonyms for an unhappy head coach. And I think some It's part of being a head coach is having that in your tool bag, right? Is having that option to fire up or light a fire under your troops. So Dave Canales, after an awful preseason game, it felt kind of mild to me, right? Even when he was saying things like, I wanted them to earn a third drive, and they didn't, it still came across as like ipso facto, like, matter of fact, they didn't do it, so they didn't get to go back out there. And I want Canales to be able to let his team know in no uncertain terms that was unacceptable. And then this clip goes viral of Ron Rivera. Now, to set the scene here, it is a preseason post-game locker room. Ron Rivera is addressing the Panthers after they won the preseason game against the Miami Dolphins, okay? It was a game in which they scored pretty much exclusively field goals in the first half, and the Dolphins were able to score some touchdowns, okay? So, without further ado, this is the post-game locker room after a preseason win from Ron Rivera in the preseason of what ended up being the best team in Carolina Panthers history.
Some of the that goes on in these games tells a lot about who we are and who you are. You guys better understand that. We talk about how good we're going to be, and you do that for half a game. You lucky is what you did. You guys come out and play like that again, I promise you, a good team beats your You're too good a football team to flop around like that for half a game and then think you can turn it on. And think you can turn it on at the end to win. You better understand, good teams don't let you do that. If you want to be a great team, you take a team by the throat and you crush it. Right in the middle of the throat. And you don't give them a chance. You don't! You better develop that mentality because if you expect to win it and win the Super Bowl, that's how you got to play.
They scored 31 points in that game. They won 31-30. They forced 3 turnovers in that game. That was Ron Rivera in the postgame locker room. Now, I will say this. I don't want inauthenticity, okay? Ron Rivera obviously has that in his bag of tricks because he was a linebacker on the 1985 Bears, right? Because he played next to Mike Singletary. Like, he's going to have a certain level of intensity and anger that he can go to when he needs to. But that right there, message sent. I don't care if it's a preseason. I don't care if it's a walkthrough. I don't care if it's a team meeting. I don't care if it's like whatever. If the Carolina Panthers, an NFL team, are strapping up their chin straps and going through the motions, you better do so at a high level or else it's unacceptable. Like he was talking about stepping on their throat and then gave more specific instructions right in the middle of the throat. Like he doesn't want you to land a glancing blow. He wants you aiming for the jugular. I kind of hope Miami was in like the locker room next door and could hear him, and they're just like, "Whoa, buddy, preseason, relax." But that is, I think, something that Canales needs to work on. When the offense plays as bad as it did, if you're not going to send him out for the third period, or for the third drive, excuse me, definitely not the third quarter, but if you're not going to send him out for the third drive, let him wear it a bit, right? Let him stew in it. Give him the business. Because it sets the tone, right? And I know what everybody is saying, right? There's a bunch of different leadership styles, and I agree. And you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat and everything else, right? You don't have to be the linebacker from the 1985 Bears. I completely agree. But part of football is it's fast paced, right? You have to be able to communicate your point in 30 seconds or less. 30 seconds or less. Right, it's not a true corporate environment, right? Which is why, and I do it, but it's why it's not usually the best analogy to relate an in-game football or sports experience to what you're doing in like a corporate office. Because in a corporate office, you can call someone into the conference room, you can sit down, you can give them, like 3 compliments before you criticize. Love what you're doing. You're working hard. You're showing up. You're working with the team well. I noticed what you did on that end of the year project. You crushed it. Now, having said all that, there's a few things that I think we can work on. Having said all that, let's dive in a bit here to this, and this. You can't do that in football. If you're doing something really wrong, I need to tell you you're doing something really wrong right now, and I need to get it all off my chest right now because the clock is ticking. Next game starts. And then today at practice, reports come out that the offense was running sprints. And I was like, I don't love the move, but I like Canales trying something. That was my first reaction. I'm like, feels kind of high school, right? Like, are you going to have to go run sprints? I remember Joe Judge did it with the Giants, and I was like, feels real high school. But then it turns out that wasn't even Canales doing it. Here's Canales explaining who made the team run sprints.
That was all player-led. They kind of have been talking to each other, holding each other accountable to the pre-snap stuff that I've been harping on, I'm not a big fan of the gassers. I believe that we practice hard enough. We don't need to do that kind of stuff and try to add more volume to the high intensities that I'm expecting in all phases. But for the guys, it means something to them, and that was their way of trying to address it today. I think it was one. So, I think the message kind of was taken across the board, and there was a good response that way.
There are not many, and ironically, I would say the one giant exception is the coaching tree from which Dave Canales comes from, which is Pete Carroll. But there are not many truly great coaches that I know that coach football that aren't top-tier screamers. Right? They show you that they care about you. They show you that they're doing everything to help you get better and to help you win and to help you achieve your goals and all of that. And then they're pretty darn good at letting you have it. Again, Pete Carroll is one of the very few that has been able to pull it off without doing that, or at least without doing so super publicly. Right, Pete Carroll might be an all-timer. You know how people say like Belichick is funny in the team room? Mm-hmm. Maybe Pete Carroll is just a mean old dude. As soon as the cameras get away, cameras show up, he's like, watch the 70-year-old that likes to wrestle. But maybe that's true. But it is something that I'm starting to – I didn't think it was a big deal at first, but I'm starting to feel the absence of it in the room, that Canales is never really mad. And the Panthers have done a lot that should make the head coach really mad.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I will say this, though, that he even said that I think I maybe fired the guys up a little bit too much because practice got chippy today, and he said I think that really extended from the team meeting before practice. So maybe he did that in a way that he think obviously his players reacted to in some way, shape, or form. I will say this as a former coach, when I was coaching college lacrosse, is that If you want to light a fire, you have to be selective with it, because if you're constantly yelling, then you're just noise. And no one's going to respond to that. It's like, oh, well, he's just there goes yelling again. It has to be selective if you're going to really push that button. I think Canales is still, as a young coach, is still trying to figure out what's the best time to push that button. And that just comes with years of doing it.
I completely agree that you can't – one of the stories, and I forget who told it. Oh, no, it was on Hard Knocks. It was McDermott telling the story. McDermott, the head coach of the Bills, said in high school before like his first game of the junior season or something, an assistant coach came running into the locker room and was like, I'm so fired up, and picked up a chair and threw it through the window. And he's like, and we ran out there hair on fire, ready to roll. Next week, we started flat. He didn't throw a chair through the window. It was like – we got to one-up that, right, if you want us to be jacked. So I do completely agree. You can't use it all the time. But there are a few moments a season where you do have to. You have to have, like I said, that club in your bag, right? You can't hit a driver on every hole, right? If you're walking up there on a 140-yard par 3 and you're like, let the big dog eat, give me old Big Bertha, and you're swinging as hard as you can, it doesn't work. But you're not going to be a great golfer if you can't hit the driver occasionally. And Ron Rivera, right there, pulled out the driver, striped it down the middle. set the tone in the preseason. They didn't lose again. So week 15.
Yeah, it took a few months.
Like,
literally.
That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. I almost want to see, like, because, by the way, first time it won't go great. I've told this story too. Second high school football story where my high school coach was trying to get us fired up. We played in Berlin, Maryland, and it was colloquially kind of in the streets known as Bucktown.
Okay.
So big fire him up speech before a game. And he tried to finish it with, now let's go give them a good old-fashioned Bucktown butt kicking. Okay? Little bit of a tongue twister there. And he fired us up. Big old, you got to play for your brothers, play for the colors that you wear, and go out there and give them a good old-fashioned Bucktown butt kissing. And we were all like, yeah, huh? What? And what? There's no coming back from that, right? He can't go, I meant butt kicking. So he just, boom, out the double doors, onto the field. And we were walking behind him like, all right, guys, I guess we gotta go play football. It's not gonna be perfect every time, but you gotta try it, right? It would have worked if he hit kicking at the end. We would have stormed out of those doors like we were ready to go to battle. Kind of reversed the momentum there a little bit, but you gotta try, right? And you'll get better at it. As Dennis said, it's about being a coach for a long time and figuring it out as you go along. I think this past weekend would have been an opportunity for him to chew the offense at least a new one. Instead, like, the players are making us run. It's like, I don't know if they were punished enough if they're choosing to punish themselves more. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is football at 4. We have the ladder challenge and Copper Drop coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If we're going to do a quick power ranking right now of second-year QBs, you're saying Jaden 1.
Yes.
2 Nicks.
Correct.
3.
May.
Which would leave us 4 Caleb.
At best. You got J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. I would have all 3 of those guys in the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams was 6th.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
And we're back talking all things connectivity with Spectrum customers Kev and Melissa. So tell us, how long have you been with Spectrum and how important is a reliable internet connection?
We've been Spectrum customers since we moved 12 years ago. The first thing we did is sign up for Spectrum Internet.
You get a lease, you get Wi-Fi.
Yes,
immediately.
We need that. We had Spectrum Wi-Fi before our couch got here.
That's true. That's a true story.
I'll sleep on the floor, but I won't go to bed with no internet.
You heard it here. Switch to Spectrum now.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC-branded pain relievers. Aleve helps you keep moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. There's some, you want to talk about rejoin music, keeping the energy up. All right, now that the energy's up, we can head to the ladder challenge and continue the competition vibes. This time between Dennis and I. August 19th, so we are back half of the month. Trophy is still where it remains, where it belongs.
Oh, my God! And for the 20-foot ladder with a spear on Jeff Hardy. For the love of God, Jeff Hardy may be broken. Smack dab
Ladder challenge. Want to fire it up one more time?
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time.
There you go. Shout out to the Hardy Boys, actually. Been in studio here not that long ago.
Yeah.
Ladder challenge. Small, likely to win bets that you might not get too excited about, but we make one every day. And when we win, we roll over the funds and the payout and the stake and everything. And if you do that a bunch of days in a row, you can make some good money here. And then whoever has the most money at the end of the month is the winner. If you lose, you go back to $10. Dennis, how was the most recent ladder challenge for you from yesterday?
Went well yesterday. I needed Paul Skeens of the Pittsburgh Pirates to throw 4 or more strikeouts. I think he had 8 yesterday. So, yeah, nailed that. It was a minus 1,000. So, yeah, Paul Skeens and strikeouts makes perfect sense. So, I'm up to $23.93 now.
I had to start over because the Panthers are a horrendous offense. By the way, I just want to be clear. My vitriol aimed towards the Panthers offense has nothing to do with the fact that they cost me a ladder challenge bunch of money. No, it's separate of that. I am also mad about that, but separately I'm mad for just Panther reasons. But yesterday I did also have a nice, stress-free win. I needed the Bengals to throw 1 or more touchdown passes. Mm-hmm. Can we talk about how long Joe Burrow played? Joe Burrow was playing at the end of the first quarter, was taking ridiculous horse collar sacks, was scrambling around and not protecting himself at all. And Zach Taylor was like, you know what? Yeah, let's keep putting him back out there. Let's keep putting him back out there. It was almost as if Zach Taylor, their head coach, was like, he hasn't thrown a touchdown pass yet. I know Tim bet on it in the ladder challenge. So we got to keep sending the starters out there, including Joe Burrow, who's just getting worked, until he throws a touchdown pass. And then he did it. And he threw a touchdown pass to some guy named Charles Davis, who Joe Burrow on the sideline called Chuck.
Okay.
And then Jake Browning threw 2. Whoever Tinsley is for the Bengals, if he doesn't make the Bengals, he's going to have a plethora of options just off the highlights he put up there last night as a receiver. So I had 3 touchdown passes. I only needed 1. Turned my $10 into 11. Dennis, you are in the lead. Have your way with your pick today.
Okay, I'm actually going to go back to baseball. Your New York Mets starting pitcher, David Peterson, disallows 1 earned run today. It's a minus 700, so my $23.96 will turn into $27.38.
Let's go Mets. We're in a bit of a rough patch. Hasn't been great the last month or two. Keep the faith.
Just 1 earned run. That's it.
Keep the faith.
If he does it in the first inning, and then that's the only run the team gives up, and your Mets still win. We both win, Tim.
Or you could lose and I could win.
It's possible.
I'm also going baseball. To be clear, I'm so ready to have football all the time, and then mix in basketball and hockey, and then for whatever reason, I'm not very good at picking baseball. I think baseball it's too much of a big sample size sport.
Yeah.
And when we're going day to day, I can't pick I don't know, batting average in the month of August is what I'd be more interested in betting on. So I'm just trying to tread water here. I found a minus 1,000 bet.
Okay.
Hunter Green, Cincinnati pitcher, 5 or more strikeouts versus the Angels. He's one of the most physically gifted pitchers ever. He throws 1,000,000 miles an hour. I remember a Sports Illustrated cover article about him years ago where he was reportedly the best high school prospect shortstop and the best high school prospect pitcher.
Okay.
And he went, I think he was drafted 2nd overall. But I'm just trying to escape baseball. I'm not confident. Give me my minus 1,000 Hunter Green, 5 or more strikeouts versus the Angels. Turn my $11 into $12.10. And let's get to football or basketball or hockey or literally anything else. I did peruse through the WNBA. I just don't know enough.
Yeah, I can't do enough.
I just don't know enough.
Tim, if you want to bet on hockey, you can bet on my beer league game tomorrow night.
Got to take Dennis Cox over 0.5 points?
I'd take the under on that one.
All right, never mind. All right, we'll take
the under on that one.
Minus 1,000.
I know. I did have an assist last game, so
hey,
there's that.
Yeah, big. The longer shots pay out the biggest.
That's true. They do.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's the ladder challenge. Let's head over to Copper Drop.
You want true enlightenment? Well, I'm dropping.
All right, Dennis, what are we copping and dropping other than beer league stats?
Other than beer league stats? Well, let's stick to hockey.
Let's do it.
The initial, training camp roster for the U.S. Olympic men's hockey team was announced today. Jacob Slavin on that list. We saw him obviously playing the Four Nations. feel like this is an easy one. Copper drop. Jacob Slavin's on Team USA in the Olympics in 2026.
Cop it.
I told you it's the easiest cop ever.
I would have copped like he's going to lead that team in time on ice.
Yeah.
Like he's not only on the team, he is a foundational piece, a pillar at which you built upon. I think Slavin in the Four Nations proved where he belongs in Team USA's lineup, and I don't see that changing, barring injury or something crazy that's completely unforeseen in the near future.
Copper drop. Seth Jarvis makes Team Canada. Copper drop.
Copping. Another guy that was on the Four Nations roster. Wasn't active for every game, but played a good amount. And also the rosters are bigger in the Olympics.
Yes. You actually had dressed 20 skaters as opposed to 18 skaters in the Olympics.
So even if a couple of Canadians emerge, really burst onto the scene, you could still bring back most of, if not all of, the 18 you had for Four Nations and a couple spots for some emergent stars. Not to mention, I think Seth Jarvis is going to keep getting better. I don't see him plateauing now. So he'll be a better version of the Seth Jarvis that made the Four Nations Cup. Thus, I think you make the bigger rostered Olympic team. And by the way, I think he cares about it. I think I think it matters to him, and it would to me as well if I had the opportunity. So I'm not complaining, but I'm saying I think when you care about it, they're more likely to pick you as well when it's something you cherish.
Plus, one thing people have to keep in mind when you're putting together these rosters for Olympics or Four Nations, whatever it might be, you still have to have guys that can fit into roles of killing penalties and grinding and those. And Seth Jarvis can do that. I mean, 5 shorthanded goals last year? You need guys that can do that too. You can't just stack a bunch of all-star first, quote-unquote, first and second liners out there. Guys still have to play those roles too, and Seth Jarvis fits that perfectly.
Seth Jarvis fits perfectly because it's not bringing in a guy for a specific role. It's bringing in a guy that can do darn near any role. He can do any of it. So it's whatever you need on a game-to-game basis. He can kind of be that Swiss Army knife, which includes being, if you need him to go hunt goals and you need him to go, he can do that. I have a feeling Team Canada might have a bunch of those.
A couple.
And then he can, if you need somebody in a pinch to do darn near anything, he can make it happen.
Okay, actually, one final Canes one here for you. Cop or drop. We talked about Alexander Nikishin, the interview that he did in terms of him getting prepared for his first full season in the NHL. Cop or drop. 20 or more points for Alexander Nikishin this upcoming season. Cop or drop.
Cop. With obviously a lot of unknown here, I could see him being the quarterbacking the second unit power play.
Possibly.
We saw a few times, not a ton, but enough to know he has it in the arsenal. Some heavy shots from a long way out.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the more comfortable he gets with his defensive assignments, the more likely we are to see that, because it's almost like, I won't have to scramble back and figure out where I am if this doesn't find the back of the net or this doesn't get deflected and turn into a rebound near the crease. So I think the more comfortable he gets defensively, the more he'll allow himself to chase some of the tremendous potential he's shown on the other end. I think 20, and I also think early in his career, I think it's goal scoring, I think, is going to be something he brings. And then as he becomes a more wily player, he'll start, picking up some more assists and knowing when he can leak out on the break and when he has his backside covered and everything else.
Okay, let's shift focus over here to the Carolina Panthers. We talked about on Tuesday next week that they had the roster cut down to 53. Cop or drop, the Panthers keep 7 wide receivers. Cop or drop?
They keep 7?
Yeah.
At the 53.
At the initial 53, 7 wide receivers. Cop or drop?
They did last year on the initial 53, and then shortly after limited it.
Again, we're talking initial 53-man roster that we're going to have at 4 o'clock next week.
Tough. I'm going to drop it. I say 6.
Okay.
And part of the reason is because especially with the hamstring that Hunter Renfroe suffered and missed a decent amount of time, and we haven't heard as much hype around him since he returned from the hamstring.
Not really. He'll definitely play on Thursday, by the way.
Correct. I'm thinking if they go to 6, it's probably David Moore or Hunter Renfroe that are not on the team. And I think they respect those 2 veterans enough that if they want to go pursue other opportunities, they're not going to wait till the first round of waiver claims happen to then let them go, which they sometimes you do that so they're more likely to be there to go back on your practice squad, or they're more likely to be there if you want to pick them back up. But I think they respect them enough to make the cut. So I think they'll go 6 with either Moore or Renfroe not there.
Okay. All right, cop or drop. Bryce Young at quarterback this season for the Carolina Panthers accounts for 25 or more touchdowns. Cop or drop. I say accounts for. That's passing, rushing, receiving, kick returns.
Say it again so I can get my bearings.
So cop or drop, Bryce Young accounts for 25 or more touchdowns this upcoming season. Cop or drop.
Gosh, he better. I'm copping out of I don't want to know what happens if he doesn't. And by the way, I don't what do you have 6 rushing touchdowns last year?
5, I believe.
I don't think he gets there. I think, and I don't want him to, right? 3 is plenty for me. You know what I mean? That's a decent amount for a guy with his pass-first idea.
He had 2 in the final game against Atlanta. I know he had 1 against Arizona. Then he had 1, I think, against the Saints at the beginning of the year. He had a rushing touchdown. So, but I think there's also 1 more thrown in there as well.
I don't think he's
5.
I don't think he's a tush-push guy. I'll bring it up real quickly here. He had 6 rushing touchdowns.
Was it 6? Okay.
He had 6. I don't want that many for him. So, but 20 passing touchdowns, 22 passing touchdowns. If he plays every game, I mean, that's not that. That's 1 and change. That's not even 1.5 per game. So, yeah, I think he better get to 25 plus. So I'm copping it. If he doesn't, it probably means there was an injury or a benching of some kind. Which, if he's not on pace for 25 touchdowns accounted for, a benching might make sense if it's towards the end of the year. So yeah. I mean, I'm high on Tedero McMillan's ability to score touchdowns. I think he's going to be really good in the red zone. I think Adam Thielen's going to be Adam Thielen. You hope the play calling is able to scheme some up. There's a decent amount of just, what's the floor there? 18?
Passing touchdowns?
Yeah.
The floor better be 20.
If the floor is 20 passing touchdowns, that's the floor. What's the ceiling? 30 plus, 34?
28.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you might drop this then. Because 20 to 28, the average would be 24, right? Am I getting
but again, total touchdowns accounted for. So I'm not talking just passing again. He might run for 4 or 5. So I would probably.
I'm copping, and I better be right.
Yeah. I think it's a hopeful in that regard. All right, now next one here. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball for the Carolina Panthers. Cop or drop? J.C. Horn has 3 or more interceptions this season.
Best indicator of future results is past results. He has 3 in his first 3 years combined. I don't think he gets to 3 for a few reasons. I'm still very concerned about the rest of the secondary. And I've talked about this. If I'm a quarterback and there's 4 guys in the secondary, 1 is an A-plus cover guy, 1 is a B-plus, A-minus cover guy, and the other 2 are, just hoping to get C's for degrees, I'm not going at the A-plus cover guy that often, right? If I can avoid it, especially if he doesn't travel with the other team's number 1 wide receiver, I'm just scheming it up. So my number 1 wide receiver is never guarded by J.C. Horn, and I'm not throwing at him, right? He'll finish with a very low passer rating against. He'll finish with 5 targets. I'm worried about why would you test J.C. Horn enough for him to get his hands on the ball a bunch. And if the pass rush isn't getting home, even more reason to not expect him to. It's not a knock on J.C. Horn if he stays healthy. I think he's an exceptional corner. I don't know if he gets a chance to impact the game that way.
Okay, next one here. We got 2 more left for you.
Let's hear it.
First one. C.J. Bailey, NC State quarterback. Darian Mensah, Duke quarterback. And or UNC quarterback Gio Lopez, assuming Gio Lopez is going to be the starter.
So the 3 starters in the triangle.
The 3 starting quarterbacks in the triangle. One of them will earn an all-conference nod this postseason.
First or second team?
First, second, or honorable mention.
Oh, I'm copying at least honorable mention. I think the ceiling is high, exceptionally high for Darian Mensah, and pretty high for the other 2. obviously the wild card being the North Carolina situation, because everything about UNC is a wild card, unknown mystery right now. CJ Bailey, right? The biggest jump you expect in play for a college athlete is from your freshman to sophomore year. So how big that jump is, we'll wait and see. Darian Mensah, I think, is the safest bet of the bunch. But as far as at least one of them getting honorable mention, I'm copping that. With like if I were to give odds, it would be Mensah, then Bailey, then Lopez. But I think there's a decent chance any of the three can make it happen.
All right, final one here. Let's shift focus to, actually, Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball in North Carolina. Cop or drop, the state of North Carolina will get a professional Major League Baseball team in the next 5 years. Cop or drop.
All right, there's some reporting that's been done on this. Let's cut cop or drop the music. I will drop this.
Again, key part I said next 5 years. Doesn't mean it won't happen in maybe 10.
Again, I'll give my kind of standard statement here. This is one of those deals where I think it's smart to take the field versus any city. It's they want to expand. Okay, Major League Baseball wants to expand. They pretty much want to do it within the next 3 years. I think they're kind of planning for 2 more Major League Baseball teams. I think it's smart to take the field versus any one city for getting them, right? Like if it's hard to bet on one team. I was interested though. The Athletic put out an article because now the conversation is once expansion happens, they're saying maybe doing away with the American and National League, maybe redrawing lines for the divisions, and a whole bunch of things that I think the baseball purists are going to be really mad about. I saw someone online that said there could be an East division that would be 4 teams. It would be the Phillies, the Yankees, the Mets, and the Red Sox. And it would just be pure fistfights at every point in time. But I was reading this Athletic article that kind of gave their ideas for what the divisions would look like, and they had an NL South division. That's what they called it. That would be the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the Tampa Bay Rays, and then the third team was Nashville or Raleigh. Because they were banking on an expansion team being in the southern part on the East Coast, or at least eastern side of the country. I don't know if you'd count Nashville the East Coast. And they didn't put, generic eastern southern expansion team. They put Nashville or Raleigh. So top 2, right? Like, hey, does that mean 50%? No, I don't think that means 50% for Raleigh. I think Nashville is the leader. I think Raleigh is second place right now. And I think there are other teams that have some percent, others, Orlando or wherever, other teams, maybe a Montreal or something like that have some percentage of getting if they add a team to the East. I think it's good that Raleigh is in the discussion this much. I think it hurt when Tom Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, was the leader of the group that bought the Portland Trailblazers, because I think probably that cash, that liquidity, would have been a part of what he used to back a Major League Baseball to Raleigh situation. But that's not to say it's 100% done. He's still interested in it by all accounts and all statements made. Dennis, let me float this to you.
Okay.
Does getting an expansion team feel a bit like you have to go after it hard and lose in order to be the front runner the next time it happens? I think of it like head coaching in the NFL, where this summer, if you're a coordinator and you're doing good, you have to interview for a bunch of you have to be a finalist for a couple head coaching jobs, and then next year is when you actually get the top line offers to be a head coach. You kind of just have to announce that you're a legitimate contender by being close, and then the next time you have a real shot at it. I feel like Raleigh hasn't gotten close yet. So maybe this is the time they get close, and then if the NBA wants to expand or whatever some other, if Major League Baseball wants to expand again 10 years from now, then it's like, all right, well, Raleigh was close last time, so they're to the head of the line this time. Or maybe I have a better analogy here. It's like trying to host the Olympics.
Yeah.
You put in your bid, you make it to the finalists, you go make the presentation, you lose out to Helsinki, and then the next time it comes around, it's almost like you jump straight to the head of the line.
It's like, yeah, they made a really good impression. I have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
If we weren't giving it to Helsinki, it was going to you, Chicago. And then surprise, the next time they're telling, Seoul, it's like, if we weren't going to Chicago, we were going to you, Seoul. Like it kind of just, it happens in that way. And I think this is kind of that. Right? The fact that it's Nashville or Raleigh in a major publication article and Raleigh's being mentioned, I don't know if that's enough to make me think it's going to happen this time, but it's enough to make me think it could happen.
Yeah.
I think Portland is in a similar position. Like they want to be mentioned. Every time like NBA talks about expansion, Vegas has come up, and it's like, all right, they've done the NHL thing. Like they've been in the mix for expansion teams, so they feel like ready to take that step. Raleigh is for the first time, the Triangle for the first time is really getting in that mix, and now maybe not this time, but maybe next time I think they'd be a favorite.
So expansion fee roughly is around $2.2 billion. This is the expansion fee. So that's obviously you got to have the money to front that, which obviously Major League Baseball owners will be like, expand and give me get a share of this $2.2 billion. Sure. So you have to keep that in consideration. But also there's a thing in Major League Baseball in terms of revenue sharing. So I can't remember if the formula has changed, but I know it used to be all local revenue generated, 33% of it from each team gets thrown into a pot and then gets evenly distributed amongst all the teams across Major League Baseball. So if you are coming into Major League Baseball, yeah, you bring in an expansion fee, but I also have to show that at least my revenue that I'm sharing is going to be at least on par with everyone else, because if I'm not going to generate any revenue, well, then guess what? The money that you're spending on the expansion fee, I'm eventually just going to have to funnel that back towards you, and owners and teams don't want to do that. So you have to show that you have the money to upfront an expansion fee. You have to have the money, or at least show proof that we can generate revenue from TV contracts, from sponsorship deals, the whole bit. You have to present all of that in order to be like, okay, yeah, let's go there, because we know they're going to make money for our league.
And on top of that, you have to prove you have the stadium.
Stadium, that all comes with it as well.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch that goes into this.
You need the land, you need the money, you need everything. You need the backers, you need the state funding. Like, it's not, we'll get it and then we'll figure it out. It's no. You figure it out and then we'll give it to you is the way it works. But I'm still rooting for it. I'm still rooting for it for a bunch of reasons. One,
I would love to see it.
Baseball's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Two, selfishly, it would make our summer months way easier on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
And then three, I think it's a good market for it. I think there's baseball fever in the area.
And we'll see also as well with Major League Baseball franchises like the Athletics and the Rays, because their stadium situations are in flux right now. Does Oakland, I know they're set now to go to Vegas, but does that actually go through? Tampa is playing at the spring training facility of the Yankees right now. They don't even have a stadium. You don't know where potentially one of these teams could just float and move to another place.
I completely agree with that. But that's another great point, right? If you finish in second for a franchise that maybe expands to Nashville, and then a couple years later the Rays are truly kind of up for grabs, maybe that's where they're like, oh, Raleigh, remember how good Raleigh's presentation was? Maybe that's the spot, right? Like there's a bunch of options there. But you do need billionaires. You do need billionaires. And they don't grow on trees. If they do, tell me where the orchard is, and I'll go.
Yeah,
I'll go apple picking.
Yeah, go shake some coins out of that.
There you go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have a feedback frenzy coming up, but first, Dennis Cox has a message.
Speaking of finances, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money just vanish every single month? Stop. Right now at Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in years. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no obligated quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. Imagine this. Just imagine this. Lower payments, more money in your pocket, and a fresh start with a better mortgage. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next 2 house payments. Don't let high rates hold you back. Call 919-381-1760 or go to loanpronto.com right now. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's a feedback frenzy. Coming up next.
Get ready.
Concepcion touchdown, 13 yards. NC State leads North Carolina with 8:01 to play.
College football kicks off August 23rd.
Jones a first down and more. 10-5. They've tied the game. Bully ball by the Duke offense. Down the far sideline. Caught at the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Carolina.
On 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
New to the area? Let me be the first to welcome you. I'm Marcy Bailey of Bailey's Fine Jewelry. We've been family owned and part of North Carolina since 1948. We have a tradition of being voted the best jewelry store with an unparalleled selection of designer jewelry, fine diamonds, engagement rings, watches, and gifts to commemorate all your special occasions. We look forward to sharing our award-winning service and stunning jewels with you. Visit us today in store or at baileybox.com to see why every woman wants a Bailey box.
Is your heating and air system handling the hot weather okay? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hey, it's Paul Eihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. The Sign and Save sales event is happening now at Clayton Homes and Oakwood Homes, but only through August 31st. You can save up to $5,000 instantly on your new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. Discover the comfort, the style, and the value of a Clayton-built home, crafted with North Carolina in mind. From modern floor plans to energy-saving upgrades and premium finishes, there's a home fitting your lifestyle and, of course, your budget. And with summer heating up, it's the perfect time to enjoy energy-smart features for year-round comfort and savings. Stop by, tour our fully furnished models, or visit manufacturedhomeoffers.com and browse limited-time deals. But don't wait. The Sign and Save sales event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I love opportunities to hear from our listeners. We have a lot of conversations here on this show about some of your favorite teams, so why wouldn't we let you weigh in? It's why we do things like the Monday Sound Off. Every Monday about 4:20, we open up the phone lines for a half hour, and why we do things like Feedback Frenzies, where Dennis peruses the internet and finds all the best feedback from you, and we respond on air. So, Dennis, what do you have for us? What are we responding to today?
Well, we just had a conversation a little bit about Major League Baseball potentially as it kind of come to North Carolina, maybe the next few years. A lot of uncertainty in that regard. Well, we actually have David from I-40 actually wants to chime in. Has instant feedback for you. So here's David from I-40. Tim, I'll let you take this here.
David from I-40, Easter Automotive Group Hotline. Go ahead and give us some feedback. What do you have for us?
Well, you're talking about needing billionaires, and I think you need regular people. You know,
right, explain. What do you mean by that?
Well, because you need fresh money. You need attendance. Got to have people that show up. We don't have the traffic figured out. We don't have parking figured out. Nashville does. Nashville already has a couple. They got the Predators. They got universities. They got the football team. They got parking. They got fresh money coming in all the time. We've got tech and research. We got money here, but it'll be the taxpayer paying for that Tennessee has a different tax bracket deal the way they run theirs. So it's not so much the person paying for the upgrade.
I mean,
we need regular people,
not
just billionaires.
I appreciate it. Call back in anytime. I'll respond to that quickly here. You need billionaires to get the team here. You need the regular people to create a healthy business once they are here. And a little hat tip to MLB Raleigh, which is the movement that kind of to get the team here. MLB defines their population as within 150 miles of the stadium or where you would put it. Raleigh has just under 14 million, 13.98. Portland, 8.61. Nashville, 8.23. Salt Lake, 3.39 million. So Raleigh has the most there. They also have the most within 60 miles, which is what they define as regional population. That would be 3.8 million for Raleigh within 60 miles, 3.3 for Portland, 2.6 for Nashville, 2.9 for Salt Lake. So they're a bit more spread out, but they're not that more spread out. You know what I mean? I think the population isn't necessarily the deciding factor. Some of what you said, parking, stadium, you'd have to build a stadium to bring a Major League Baseball team here. And you have to pick a great spot to do it, and you'd have to have parking, and you'd have to, maybe set up some in and out travel options, but that's why you need a billionaire. That stuff costs a lot of money, but you could make it happen with enough money.
I think the population is there. Again, it's all about, do you have the corporate sponsors to maintain a successful franchise? Because you need naming rights. You need to have not just naming rights, but you also have other corporate sponsorships that you see inside. I went to a game at Oracle Park in San Francisco back in July.
Oh, well.
And
Silicon Valley's got a little bit of cash.
Well, here's the thing is that you don't see Apple or Google or PayPal on any of these places. I mean, Oracle is a tech company in and of itself, but you saw Levi jeans. You saw Coca-Cola. You saw those kinds of things there. It wasn't just a bunch of all these tech companies.
And that's really hard for us to know. I don't pretend to know everything about the economy here in Raleigh. It's impossible for me to know everything about the economy in Portland. You know what I mean? Or Salt Lake. What makes their economy go around? I have no idea. So I think Raleigh is feasible. I think it's up to much smarter people to decide if it's the most feasible. What do you got for us in the feedback frenzy realm, Dennis?
All right, so yesterday we had a conversation about the Carolina Panthers and their struggles yesterday, or I guess over the weekend.
In their preseason game, too.
In their preseason game. And we had a conversation about just the offense struggling, and then this actual one comes from Cesar. Cesar just asked a simple question. Do Panthers fans wish they took C.J. Stroud? And not Bryce Young at quarterback?
The reason the long I think that when you start doing that, when you start giving them, all right, hey, we're giving you the ability to go back and change history, I don't think you go back and change who you draft number one. I think you go back and change that you traded up to number one. Right? It's picking between Bryce and Stroud. I'm not 100% sure. I know Stroud had a great rookie year. I don't know if you put him in the situation Bryce has been put in, if he has shown the potential that he's shown through his first 2 years in the NFL. I think there's a good chance that if you gave the Panthers the genie wishes or the magic wand or whatever, that they could go back and change things. Would they have the 9th pick? They'd go back and pick at 9 and be super excited about it and keep their number 1 overall draft pick the next year, and then maybe take Jaden Daniels. How's that? And you pass on taking number 1 the Caleb year, and the next year you take Jaden Daniels number 1 overall with your own pick, where the Bears took Caleb Williams.
Possibly. All right, this one also comes along the lines of let's shift focus over here to UNC. Talked about yesterday about how it seems like Gio Lopez is being treated like the starting quarterback. He's doing interviews with the ACC Network and all those kinds of things. And we brought up the question is, why don't you just go ahead and name him the starter? And this one comes from Josh Aaron. Josh Aaron says, this is classic Bill Belichick. Why is anyone surprised? Keeping it a secret to the world as long as possible is an advantage. I'm sure the team knows.
There's a difference between surprised and disagreeing. I'm not surprised Bill Belichick is secretive from the media with anything. I think that's detrimental to the confidence of the quarterback. So it's two different things there, right? It's surprise isn't the way I would describe it. a hint of frustration might be the way I describe it. For every, like, Tom Brady is about as inevitable as a football player as we've ever seen, right? He can be 7th on the depth chart at Michigan, and he's going to be inevitable. He could, Drew Henson could be in front of him, and he's inevitable. Drew Bledsoe could be in front of him. Highest paid player in the league, and he's inevitable. I'm not sure Bill Belichick had to worry about the decisions he made to develop Tom Brady, because he was like, Tom Brady was going to make sure on his own it happened. Most other quarterbacks need to be developed, and they need to be fed confidence, and they need to be put in situations that they can thrive in. I'm not sure that is being done to the best of their ability for Gio Lopez or whoever ends up starting.
All right, switching focus back to the Carolina Panthers. We had a conversation yesterday about Trey Hendrickson, the defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals, being potentially on the trade block from Cincinnati's in a contract impasse. Did the Carolina Panthers make a trade for him? Panthers were mentioned as a team interested. This one comes from Tyshawn Wilson. Tyshawn says, make the trade, Carolina. We have nothing less to lose.
You do, though. You do. The future. I get. Here's what I am in favor of. I don't want the Panthers. Like, I do a lot of. I type into Google and I end up at Pro Football Reference, but I type in Panthers record by year, right? And you go to Pro Football Reference and it brings up just a history of the Carolina Panthers. Top passer, highest annual or average value, and head coach and record, and just a spreadsheet of stats year by year. What I don't want to have happen is the Panthers have one random year where they are like 6th in the conference. They make a wild card game. They lose by a touchdown. And then they go back to stinking. For that year, it would be fun. Don't get me wrong. And I get why Panther fans would be like, that would be a drop of water after 40 days of thirst in the desert, right? And you would do anything for it. But I would rather have a better chance at a wild card game and then a wild card win and then an appearance in the conference championship, then maybe back to the wild card, then an appearance in the conference championship, then a Super Bowl appearance. Like, you got to build for stability, not making a move that might get you a wild card spot, probably not much more than that, and then shortly after you don't have the money, the draft picks, or anything else to keep getting better. Like, I don't want to see 5 wins, 9 wins, 4 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins. Hey, remember how fun that 9-win season was right after we traded everything for Trey Hendrickson and paid him $40 million a year? That was great. The last 6 years have stunk again, but hey, we'll always have that 3rd place finish in the division and 7th place in the conference wild card. Woo! It just, I want more longevity.
This actually comes along the lines of what Stewart said along that same video. Trey Hendrickson just makes no sense for our timeline, especially this late in the offseason. Rather see our young guys out there hopefully improve and elevate our true holes. We have to continue building through the draft and with youth. I just don't think we have the cap space for a 30-year-old in our timeline, albeit a pretty damn good one.
Agreed.
Yep.
No disrespect to Trey Hendrickson. It's just, it doesn't align with the Panthers. I think there are some teams out there that he aligns with very well. Matter of fact, one of them might be the Bengals.
But don't figure, right?
But I was watching the Bengals last night. Joe Burrow might throw for 6,500 yards this year.
Yeah.
And they're going to go 9-8. Like, their defense was bad. Krosky Merritt, the rookie 7th-round running back that scored a touchdown everybody got excited about. I think I might be able to not even pull my hamstring and score that touchdown. I could coast in there. That's how good the blocking was. So I don't know if he even leaves Cincy. If he does, I don't think it matches up with the Panthers.
All right, one final one here real quick.
Let's
about
do it.
30 seconds. Steve, on our YouTube live chat, just wants to know your thoughts on the new quarterback Bryce Perkins for the Carolina Panthers. You just signed a couple days ago.
I think it's
UFL MVP.
I covered Bryce at UVA.
Yeah.
He was a talent. Really, like, if you look at UVA, look at their record year by year by year at Virginia, it's like not great, not great, not great. Orange Bowl. Not great. And the Orange Bowl year was a 1,200-yard rushing, 2,000-something yards passing by Bryce Perkins' year. He elevated an ACC program. So I think it's a good low-risk move. If he outplays Plummer, he can maybe be your third. If Andy Dalton, age injuries happen, we kind of saw that over the weekend. I like third-string running backs that can run because they're not going to get enough third-string quarterbacks that can run. Thank you for your confused face.
I would also like third-string running backs that can run.
I like third-string quarterbacks that can run because they're not going to get enough practice reps to have the offense down pat. And I like them to have like a little break glass in case of emergency of, I'm confused, I'm going to run and get positive yardage. It feels, I was telling Dennis this off air, it feels a little P.J. Walker-ish where you go get a spring league really, really good, it might have been MVP. I forget if P.J. Walker was the MVP of that league. But a really, really good quarterback from a spring league. And you bring him in, you hope you don't have to use him, but if you do, maybe there's a lightning in a bottle for a game. One of my favorite throws of all time was a bit tainted by DJ Moore taking his helmet off. But the deep ball from P.J. Walker to DJ Moore over the top for the Panthers.
65 yards in the air.
Without actually going back and ranking them, might be one of my top 30 throws of all time.
Yeah.
That is a bananas play. If Bryce Perkins has one or two of those plays in him, even if it doesn't end up being not here for a long time, here for a good time type thing, could work out for the Panthers. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that interacts with us online and otherwise. You might just hear yourself on a feedback frenzy. We have the starting five coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Move your sports day forward.
A lesson learned this month, courtesy of some student athletes paying people via Venmo. When you're transferring money to friends, don't use real descriptions. Don't say sports gambling, especially if you're a student athlete playing sports. Try something different, like hide it under pizza or maybe feet pics.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you're struggling with weight like I have in the past, or maybe you've bounced from one fad diet to the next, you need to listen to this. I can proudly say that I'm down 25 pounds. That's right, 25 pounds in 3 weeks, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and that's just the beginning. The program helps reset your metabolism naturally. No injections, no steroids, no shots, no HGH, just your body doing what it naturally can do, which is burn off that weight. My clothes fit better, I'm sleeping better, my resting heart rate's the lowest it's been in years, my girlfriend doesn't complain about me snoring anymore. Get yourself where you need to be with Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Raleigh Weight Loss Center is having a huge end-of-summer sale offering up to 20% off now through August 29th with the lowest prices of the year on the amazing Raleigh Weight Loss program. Schedule your free consultation today by calling 919-897-7506. That's 919-897-7506 or online at RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Results may vary.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending and Cary. If you're in the market for a mortgage, good luck. Comparing apples to oranges is now more challenging than ever, as we've noticed a return to 80s-style lending with multiple points being charged up front in order to make the payment appear more attractive. Typically, the lowest rate quote you find will have the highest closing cost you'll find, as numerous lenders play this game of getting you to focus only on the payment and not the $15,000 due at closing. On refinancing, it's even worse, as lenders willingly add these costs to your loan amount. At Miller Lending, we don't believe in closing costs. By working with our popular no-cost program, you simply close on today's rates and refinance anytime you'd like. Nothing rolled in, nothing charged at closing. Imagine having the freedom to take advantage of smaller rate drops, opportunities to drop PMI, or simply put that money to better use. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. Mostly cloudy skies out there today, keeping the temperature down below normal with highs in the low 80s today. Tonight it's partly cloudy with temperatures in the low 70s. Partly cloudy Wednesday. It will be breezy at times with a high temperature of 87.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 10 points today to 44,922.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Bit of scheduling for you. At 5:30 today, which is normally our numbers game time, everybody knows that, we are actually going to talk with Blake Harrell, the head coach of ECU Football. That was the time that he could make work amongst their preseason schedule. So we'll have Coach Herrell on at 5:30. Don't worry, though. Numbers game diehards, 5:45. We'll just push it back a few minutes so we can both talk to Coach Herrell, get insight into the Pirates season, and also get our competition on with the numbers game at 5:45. So that's coming up second half of this hour. First half of this hour, it's time for the starting five, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now a turnover. Here comes Aho on a break. Shoots, he scores! Carolina strikes first. It's 1-0. And the Canes off to an incredibly hot start.
Dennis, where do you stand on theme nights?
I enjoy them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I enjoy theme nights.
In that case, we have theme nights from the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
They put out their list of signature nights, and there's a few. And what I mean by that are like games where there will be something special going on in the arena, an event, a giveaway, something.
Star Wars nights, all that stuff.
Exactly. So I'll give you some of the highlights. Opening night, obviously, versus the Devils, Thursday, October 9th, always electric. As far as ones that I think other fans will be super into, Stanley Cup 20th anniversary celebration nights, actually 2 games, versus the San Jose Sharks on Sunday, December 7th, and versus the Columbus Blue Jackets on Tuesday, December 9th. So there will be 2 separate 20th anniversary celebration of their Stanley Cup champions. That's going to be fun. Nostalgia and sports just go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, yeah. So we have Whalers night.
Speaking of, we'll jump ahead and then go back.
Okay.
Whalers night versus the Mammoth, Thursday, January 29th. That is a big night. Everybody loves that merch, except for Paul Eihander, who hosts Next Up every morning. Has he said that publicly? Did I just out him?
Yeah.
I love the Whalers logo. The whale tail.
The colors.
Top 5 all time.
The colors are phenomenal.
And actually the Mammoth have pretty good merch as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be a all-time jersey matchup game with the Mammoth in town for Whalers night.
I mean, a classic logo and the Whalers, and one like the newest one. I think it's pretty neat.
January 29th at 7 p.m. puck drop for the Whalers night.
Yeah, Utah has sweet threads.
To rewind a bit, Star Wars night.
Let's go.
Is versus the Dallas Stars.
Makes sense.
January 6th. That's Tuesday, January 6th.
Oh, that's when
Miko returns.
Oh.
Like he turned to the dark side, maybe? Is that what we're going at? Miko Rantanen and his return?
I don't know. I could see some Canes fans turning to the dark side against Miko Rantanen that night. That's for damn sure.
Maybe that's when we'll finally get angry Aho.
Maybe
he'll finally go dark side on us. He's been too much in the light. He'll be out there. Maybe we'll get in a fight. Probably not.
I don't think Rod would like that very much.
Not at all. Not
the fight, at least, but maybe dark side Aho. I think he would.
Like
maybe
selfish. I'm gonna go score and do everything Aho. Maybe that's it. There's a whole bunch of really cool nights. There's Olympic send-off game versus Ottawa, February 3rd. Obviously, not the most difficult to understand name there.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Olympic send-off game. There's a bunch of other nights. You go check it out. Grateful Dead night, April 2nd, Columbus Blue Jackets. Going to see a lot of tie-dye.
There you go.
Fan Appreciation Night, April 7th against Boston. And plenty of...
They have North Carolina night in there, too.
North Carolina night against the Blues, Thursday, March 12th. There's a ton of philanthropic days, charity days, Hockey Fights Cancer, First Responders Night, Women in Sports Night, Halloween on October 30th. They have a Halloween celebration.
Oh, yeah.
Assume the Jumbotron will be full of costumes. Hispanic Heritage Night, Margaritaville Night.
Oh, there you go.
Flyers October 11th. That's Saturday. So there's some really cool nights there from the Canes. If you want to plan a trip, you want to plan a game to make sure you're there, you can go check out the Canes schedule that's been released. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 all together.
Daniel Jones, a long look to the sideline. He's got Ramming lined up wide to the left, Chris Taylor wide to the right. And Deion Jackson will stand just behind him in the pistol set. On 3rd and goal, the snap to Jones. A little option look. Jones will keep it and dive in for the score.
Daniel Jones. Danny Dimes. 6th overall pick out of Duke for the Giants. Then a backup for the Vikings. Now the starter for the Indianapolis Colts. Just listen to the Colts head coach. I'm going to try this again. Ready? Just listen to the Colts head coach, Shane Steichen, make the announcement earlier today.
I'll start off by letting everyone know that Daniel Jones will be our starting quarterback this season. I thought the competition in training camp was great by both of those guys. I thought they both competed really hard, and it was good to see them cheering for each other and battling the way they did. And you guys heard me talk about the consistency, and that's really what I was looking for. And really the operation at the line of scrimmage, the checks, the protection, the ball placement, the completion percentage, I think all that played a factor in it. I think Daniel did a great job doing that, and I think AR has made strides in that area. But I do feel that, he still needs to continue to develop in those areas.
Daniel Jones starting over Anthony Richardson. Have you, Dennis, you've seen the cinematic masterpiece starring Keanu Reeves and a young Michael B. Jordan, Hardball?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Where one of the themes is, one of the most important things in life is just showing up. I feel like Daniel Jones is a bit of that, right? Just keep showing up, keep trying. You're going to have trials and tribulations. You're going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to feel like a cast-off. But if you keep showing up, you just might end up one of the 32 Week 1 starting quarterbacks in the NFL once again. Right, had options this offseason, could have gone back to the Vikings, ends up going to the Colts because he thought he had a chance to start, and then beat out Anthony Richardson. Now, here's the other part that's impressive about Daniel Jones, former Duke quarterback, beating out Anthony Richardson. Do you realize how much better your decision-making has to be in order to beat out somebody that is taller, stronger, faster, more impressive arm talent, darn near everything physical, measurable-wise? Anthony Richardson is superior to Daniel Jones, and we know that because it's measurable, right? Like, you can miles per hour on your throws, right? Like arm strength, distance, trajectories, speed. You can measure with GPS and or 40, size, weight, like everything. Anthony Richardson is above Daniel Jones. Yet people whose job it is to evaluate who's the better quarterback just said Daniel Jones is going to be the Week 1 starter. His decision making must be 50 times better than Anthony Richardson's, which says something about veteran Daniel Jones just showing up, grinding, getting better, studying, and trying to make the right play. Now, do you know what the right play is most likely going to be?
What's that?
Hand it to Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, there's that.
And hope he stays healthy. Get it to Tyler Warren and hope he stays healthy.
When does the other former Duke quarterback, Riley Leonard, get his shot?
He wasn't even mentioned there. What the heck, Shane Steichen? Why didn't you give us the reasoning Riley Leonard didn't get the nod? Probably good that he can develop, especially in the passing game, with a little bit less spotlight on him than a starting quarterback would have. But he was, a 6th-round pick? So he's in the mix, right? 6th-round picks don't get cut very often. That is number 4. Let's jump to number 3.
Nikishin back in his own zone makes a nice play away from Rodriguez.
Nikishin looks the part again. There he goes.
Now he'll backhand one up. Stankoven. Stankoven with a shot. He scores! Logan Stankoven.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This part of the starting five could be, I'll give you the option, okay? If you were a part of the group of Carolina Hurricanes fans that was very mean towards Eric Tulsky and Rod Brindamore for not playing Alexander Nikishin immediately after he stepped foot in North America, perhaps there's some, my bad, in order. There's some tapping of the chest, sorry, that's on me, in order. Alexander Nikishin spoke to RG.org, a Russian sports outlet, talked about some of the challenges of his first cup of coffee in the NHL, first time in North America last year. I have the quote here, obviously translated from the Russian that the interview took place in. The toughest part, of course, is the language. That's the main challenge. I spent the whole summer studying English, and even though I'm far from fluent, I've made progress. My vocabulary has improved. I still can't give an interview in English, but I can communicate with the guys much more comfortably now. Okay, that was one quote. I have another for you. This is about his English last season. My English was worse than Vanya's. That's Ivan Demidov, who plays for Montreal, another young Russian prospect. My English, again, from Nikishin. My English was worse than Vanya's. He prepared more. He studied the language seriously while I took it easier. I regretted that a bit, but the guys helped me. End of quote. That is, first of all, very reflective and very humble of Nikishin, but also I think it shows why us watching could see 6'3", 6'4", 215, 220, good skater, good stick skills, flashing of brilliance, and go, how in the world has this guy not been playing? Meanwhile, the coaches are going like, really hard to communicate with the guy. You know, really hard for his teammates to communicate with the guy. Really hard for Freddie Anderson to communicate with the defenseman in front of him. And in a sport like hockey, where one miscommunication leads to a goal, right? One miscommunication leads to a missed assignment, and suddenly a goal scorer is open and staring at Freddie, 5 yards away. You really don't want to take that chance if you can avoid it. And luckily for the Canes, until they struck some injuries later in the postseason, they had guys they trusted and didn't have to go to Nikishin. So with Nikishin saying, like, I kind of regret I didn't take learning English more seriously, I think that's also kind of a, oh, okay, now I see why he was watching in the booth for a month before he got on the ice. It had nothing to do with his hockey skills, right? If it was hockey skills, he could have gone out there and jumped in right away, but it was more the communication thing, I think, that held it back. And now, based on the first quote, right, spent the whole summer studying English, and he can communicate more comfortably now. I think he will be in the plans from the jump this year, and that'll give him the opportunity to work in more clearly. So if you were somebody, and there were a bunch of them in our social media mentions, in our calls, in our feedback, in our YouTube comments saying, hey, why isn't Rod playing him now? Who is this Scott Morrow? Maybe there's like a, oh, okay, yep, I get it now. We didn't have all the information. Gotcha. My bad.
Yeah, that system that Rod Brindamore runs is so structured.
Yep.
Everyone has to be on the same page. And if you're loose on your gap, if you're out of position by a step, guess what? Like you said, it's in the back of your net. That's how disciplined you have to be. It's not an easy system to pick up. We've seen guys that are tremendous skaters that are, like it took Brent Burns 15, 20 games. That guy's a future Hall of Famer in order to adjust his system.
And a super cerebral guy that has played all like in a whole bunch of different situations. And he wasn't going to be skating with Slavin, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't like Slavin, like he wasn't going to be there to fix the problems. He was going to be one of the third pair guys, and it's hard to ask somebody else to cover for a guy who might be out of position. Slavin would do it, but
of course,
you don't want that to happen.
He's so good.
He's so good. How many of our conversations do you think this offseason we can work back to? Slavin is so good. It's like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like we can start at any point in the roster, and like 4 points later, Slavin is so good. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Two running back set. Bailey keeps. Bailey dives to the end zone. Touchdown! NC State! And now the fireworks go off on time.
NC State named their captains. NC State football named their captains. And I mean, by the way, some natural, right? Somebody like Caden Fordham, who by all accounts, linebacker, he's been given the number 1 jersey for NC State, also announced today, which goes to the player that best exemplifies hard work and leadership and all the things that you'd want to captain. There are certain players that it's like not news that they are a captain, might be the way to say it. Let me find the other one I'm talking about here. Let me find the other one. Where did this go? Hold on. Also, the offensive lineman, I think it's Anthony Carter Jr. Want to give him
Yep, it's him.
There you go. The most tenured starter on the offense. That just makes sense. But then there's 2 others, right? Sean Brown, kind of makes sense. He switched positions last year. Sideline to sideline linebacker, former safety. He's statistically going to be really impressive with the defense. And then C.J. Bailey, which I believe is a vote of confidence in him, right? That is as much as it is, we think you're a leader, we think you're this. Part of it is quarterback's a captain. I was a diehard fan of Friday Night Lights, the TV show.
Never really got into the TV show.
Okay, well, there's the spoiler alert, the pilot episode where the stud quarterback gets hurt and the backup Scrappy that becomes your favorite takes over. They go to overtime in that game, and when they go to overtime, right, nobody knows who's going to walk out for the overtime coin toss because it was supposed to be the stud quarterback, and the coach just looks at the backup and goes, "Quarterback's captain." And that's like a moment where he puffs up his chest and he goes out for captains. I think this is kind of that, right? So I don't know if you're the most experienced. I don't know if you're the biggest leader. I don't know, but you will be. And we're making you the captain for that reason. Quarterback's captain, go be a leader. I think State's done a really good job with the kind of personality, psychology side of supporting their young quarterback in C.J. Bailey, being captain, part of that. And now we jump to number 1.
It's a 5-receiver look on 2nd and 10 out of an empty set. Young to shotgun snap. Steps up, throws for the end zone. Wide open, Adam Thielen caught it for a touchdown.
Carolina Panthers had their final padded practice of training camp today. That's a good feeling as a player. That's a good, taking off those leg pads and knowing the next time we put these on will be a preseason game, but then it'll be the real season. That's a good feeling. So congratulations to them. The talking point out of practice today has been that there was a significant scuffle, fight, if you will, with the main combatants being Ike Ekwonu, starting left tackle for the offense, J.C. Horn, very highly paid starting corner for the defense. And this becomes a real hot-button issue because some believe, fighting is dumb and there's no place for it in practice and you're fighting your own teammate, how foolish. And some believe if you're not fighting, you're soft. And there's a lot of, both end of the spectrum passion there. DJ Wanham, one of the veterans on the defense, spoke to the media after practice, and he thinks the scraps can actually bring a team closer together.
Growing up, I was in fights, with my friends, and, after the fight, we were best buddies, and it kind of made us closer. And just from a football aspect, it's kind of similar. Just we bringing out the best in each other, We want to see each other succeed at the end of the day, but when we on this field, I'm going at you and you're going at me. And just seeing that today kind of brought that out. Saw it a little bit in OTAs, but today was kind of like a big thing where it just kept going and going. So just seeing that, I feel like it just makes the best out of us players, and we knowing that we come to practice, we got to be ready to go because I know the offense going to bring it every day.
I think a lot of former players would think that way. Like sometimes the ones you fight with end up being your best friends. There's nothing like a good post, and I trust me, I was not a big scrapper in practice. I played quarterback, but you'd see them like almost start giggling after the fight, and it's like hours later they see each other for the first time, and the tension breaks with a joke, and it's like, okay, you guys are going to be fine. Jalen Coker, I like that he's even willing to talk about this because he is a second-year undrafted free agent, but when asked about it, he gave his thoughts on the tempers flaring up in practice.
You want your team to go out and practice hard, and I think that the practice should be harder than the game. And then if, flares are going to fly, tempers are going to fly, so it is what it is,
There it is. It doesn't have to be, like I said, there's a lot of other end of this, like either fighting in practice is a necessity, and if it doesn't happen, your team doesn't have the edge, or it's the dumbest thing in the world. It doesn't have to be that. Sometimes it's just like, yeah, you know what? It was hot out. They've been hitting each other all camp. One of them thought, the whistle blew. One of them thought the whistle didn't, and it led to that. You may not get this, but to be an offensive lineman in the NFL, your entire life, you're not taking guff from anybody, real or perceived, right? If you are hey, I go through to mediation to get to the bottom of my scuffles, you're probably not going to be the guy that's also planting 315-pounders on their back in an NFL game. So J.C. Horn, for whatever reason, did something that Ike Ekwonu didn't like. Ike Ekwonu shoved him, and there you go. That's all it takes. That's the spark that ignites it. Now, I will say, and I said this after Xavier Legette threw the punches in the preseason game, whatever end of the spectrum you fall on, we can all agree that you should not throw punches at people's heads if they're wearing a football helmet. That's foolish. I don't care if you think you need to fight or you don't need to fight. I don't care if you think hockey fighting's awesome. I don't care if you think hockey fighting's foolish. If you are using a bare hand and punching a helmet, you are a fool. Body blows, if you're going to throw punches, aim at the midsection, right? Does more damage anyway. I don't know, boxing movie told me that once. But here's where I actually get at it. If you are reckless, fighting is bad. If you are a loose cannon that can't control it, there's no place for it. But I also have experience with guys that felt this is a flat practice. I know that guy on the defensive line is a hot-tempered guy. I'm gonna go mix it up with him, and then I'm gonna come over to the offense and I'm gonna scream about how we need to dominate this period, and then practice is gonna be raised 5 levels of energy. If I'm not saying everything has to be that kind of calculated, but if it's like, actually, you know what? I'm gonna rewind it back and say something different here. Dennis brought it up earlier. I want to hear Dave Canales yell and scream when the Panthers do bad. Okay, when they're doing awful football with bad grammar. You can't overdo it, right? You can't say that every single time. You can't always go to your yelling full-throated because it becomes mute. It becomes numb. Same thing with fighting. If every practice you're getting in fights, so much so that other players are like turning their back and walking back to the huddle while you're just out there, defending your honor. But if it's every once in a while and it raises the energy, I'm okay with it. The good news is it's last padded practice, so you won't really have the opportunity to do it again until you're playing against someone in a different color jersey. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, will be joining us on the Easter Automotive Group hotline next. And a reminder, numbers game will just be pushed back about 15 minutes. So at 5:45, we'll be doing numbers game. Get ready to dial in for that. In the meantime, get ready to hear about ECU and how they're getting ready for their season and that opener in their opening game against NC State. Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, joins us next.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
If we're going to do a quick power ranking right now of second-year QBs, you're saying Jaden 1.
Yes.
2 Knicks.
Correct.
3.
May.
Which would leave us 4 Caleb.
At best. You got J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix Jr. I would have all 3 of those guys in the hat. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams is 4th. I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb Williams was 6th.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Sports can be unpredictable. Your elevator shouldn't be. That's why you need Metro Elevator, Raleigh's hometown team for expert commercial elevator service. Locally owned and operated, we specialize in keeping your building moving with top-tier repair, maintenance, modernization, and installation. Our highly trained technicians deliver fast, responsive service to ensure your elevators run smoothly. No surprises, just results. Trust Raleigh's own Metro Elevator to keep you moving. Learn more at metro-elevator.com/Raleigh.
It's bow time. Something new just dropped at Bojangles. Take the bold taste of a crispy golden chicken supreme that's been seasoned to perfection, then add dill pickles, Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, and a toasted bun that's great on the go. What do you get? You get a Bo's Bird Dog. In fact, you can grab 2 of them for $5. So when you're on the go, headed to practice, or need a snack, grab a Bo's Bird Dog. Hurry in before they're gone, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time, but sometimes it's go time. No time to stop, but the perfect time for a Bojangles Bird Dog. A seasoned to perfection Bojangles Chicken Supremes, dill pickles, and Carolina Gold barbecue sauce, all tucked inside a toasted bun. Great on the go. Try 2 bird dogs for just $5 or 2 bird dog combo for just $8.25. Available for limited time only. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Football season right around the corner. Week 0 in college football is actually this weekend. We're in week 0. And with football season knocking on our door, it's a great time to catch up with Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach. He joins us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. And I say head football coach without the interim title. He shook that title and is going into this season as his first year as the head coach of ECU. Coach Herrell, first of all, thank you very much for the time.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate everything. You guys taking the time to catch up.
We've been doing some like coaching theory debates today, so I want you to weigh in on it before we get down to the nitty-gritty with the Pirates.
All right.
How much is the right amount to yell and scream or really chew your team out? If you don't want it to become numb where they're used to it, but you want to get your point across, right. like as a first-time head coach, how do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think it changes from year to year, and I think I heard Mike Tomlin say this back during the preseason. As coaches, we are what our players need us to be, and sometimes they need us to be loving and caring and show them how we serve them, and other times they need us to serve in different ways, and maybe that's just a different way to grab their attention and raise our voice a little bit. So I think there's a fine balance there. But at the end of the day, I think the saying that players don't care how much you know until they know how much you care is still true, and it always will be and always has been, and that's where we got to start, both with love and serving.
In your first preseason as the head coach, have you had to dust off the old the upper register? Have you had to growl at him a little bit?
Well, I think anytime you go through preseason camps, it's sometimes. You just need to get their attention in different ways, and whether that's just staying off the ground and practicing with safety, or that's just attention to detail, or whatever it may be. But we've got a pretty good group, and they like ball, and they like practicing, and they love each other, and that makes my job a lot easier for sure.
Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, joining us, Heister Automotive Group hotline here on The Drive. How is it different, right? Because you are the official. I don't know if you don't even need a tag on it, but I'll call it the official head coach rather than the interim head coach. What are kind of the biggest differences there for you?
Yeah, I mean, a year ago I was worried about third down stops and how we're going to get the ball back to our offense, and now you kind of see it from a bigger picture where you're putting together practice schedules and organization and making sure everybody's preparing and in game mode, so to speak. And but we have a really good people in our building. It takes a village, and it's certainly our staff, our support staff, and our players all pitching in to do their part to make sure this thing runs smoothly, and that definitely makes my job a lot easier.
How much is that opener against NC State kind of hovering over your preseason after the bowl game, a win for your squad, and the scuffles and everything else that went into that game, knowing that it's pretty rare to play a bowl game and then your opener the next season is against the same team, especially with all the extracurricular stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you're always excited about game one, and that's kind of everybody's preseason talk, whether it's back in the spring or in summer or even here in August. You're always kind of looking forward to that game every year, regardless of who it may be. And this year for us, it just happens to be an opponent that's just up the road from us. And, our fan base and their fan base are live in the same communities and see each other daily. So that kind of adds a little fuel to the fire. Then the fact we, wrapped up last season in a bowl game, finish the season the last game of the year with them, and then turn around and play them again. An opportunity to go up their place and face off again. So it's a very different, team on both ends probably. Just you got new faces, new teams, and new coordinators on their end. So there'll be some things that'll be recognizable and some things that'll look the same, but there'll be some things that'll be a little bit different.
You bring up the differences with college football entering what I've been calling kind of the revenue sharing era.
Yeah.
As a coach taking over, where does your program stand in terms of reaching your goal for financial support, or how much you've been told about the percentages that's going to be used out of that revenue sharing opportunity? Yeah, I mean, we're blessed in Pirate Nation to be in an area where people, football matters. People care about football, and they're willing to support it with everything they have. Obviously, our resources may not be what the ACC is. I think, this year's roster, each year your revenue or your share amount is going to be different, and ours will be different next year. But I think this year, C.J. Bailey's probably going to make more than our entire roster. But you don't focus on that. You focus on what you have and what your resources are and how you can, have success with what you have. And I think that's, not just about revenue share. That's about life, Be blessed to have what you have and make the best of it, and we're certainly going to try to do that. If the number is going to change year to year, do you have to become a salesman? Or are you going into administration with here are all the reasons why next year we deserve more?
Yeah, I mean, there's things, and I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is you got to go win ball games. If your administration or even your fan base can see you win ball games and be successful, it kind of pushes them to kind of even give you more support. And I think that supports financially, and that allows you to bring in more talent and retain more talent. I mean, we lost, from our last year's roster, guys that didn't play in the bowl game, we lost 5 starters between offense and defense. They're now playing in the ACC and Big 12. If you have some other financial resources, maybe you're able to hold on to those guys. And then, it's also a fact of recruiting and bringing talent into Greenville and into the American Conference. And the ECU is being able to do that. So you just got to, you do have to be a salesman, but certainly the best sales job you can do is win football games.
Heister Automotive Group Hotline. That voice you hear is Blake Harrell, head coach of ECU Football. Let's talk about one of the guys you did retain. What can we expect from Hauser as the guy under center now that he's kind of similar to you, has had an off season as the guy, and he gets to go into this season with full support?
Yeah, it's the first time here at East Carolina we've had a returning quarterback since the 21-22 season. And, Caton did a really good job coming on late in the season and finished strong for us, and was just really playing with a lot of confidence, a little swagger out there as well. And, he's a California kid that started out at Michigan State, played as a redshirt freshman up there, transferred here, didn't win the job starting out last season. And then kind of the end of the season, we finished 5-1, and I think that's our best 6-game stretch since like 2014. And that was a big piece of what Caton brought to the table. Not only was his arm and just what he's, how he sees things on the field and getting the ball to receivers, but also what he did with his legs that we saw in the bowl game happen. And in the offseason, I'm really just proud of him, how he's leading and taking ownership of that and really doing a great job of just kind of, not just the offense and getting the offense on the same page, but our football team, and just proud of him for that aspect.
I know this is kind of like asking you to name a favorite child, but you brought up that you finished 5-1. That Caden finished 5-1 as a starter. That also happens to be your record as interim head coach. That led to you being named the permanent version of that. Is he like, everyone has their guys that mean a little bit more. Does he stand out in your memories because of how you both, wrestled the job away and then, it led to this year with all the momentum you have?
Yeah, I think it just makes me super proud of him. I mean, and we have so many of those young men that, if we look back to where we were last October, we'd lost 4 out of our last 5. We were 3-4, and our backs were against the wall. And it didn't really matter, how you felt about an individual within your program, whether it's a player to player, coach to coach, didn't matter. We all had a common goal at that point, and our backs were against the wall, and we were in the foxhole together. And, I think anytime you're in the foxhole with somebody and they got your back and you got their back, you have a new level of respect for them and just, new pride about that. And it brings you closer together and tighter together. And that's what we were able to do at the end of last season. Obviously, we can't take one play from last season or one defensive stop from last season into this season, but you can take that confidence that you gain. You can take that team camaraderie, that togetherness, and move forward with that. So that's what we're really rallying around right now and looking forward to this opener next week.
We're talking with the head coach of ECU Football, Blake Harrell, here on The Drive. Coach, you brought it up earlier that last year you were worried about third downs and defensive schemes, and now you're more big picture head coach stuff. First time, at least as I could tell from your history, coaching offensive players. Did you notice a difference? Are offensive players a little more glory boys? Like now that you're managing both sides of the ball, do you have to treat the offense a little different than the defense?
Yeah, so I started out as a high school coach. I was a JV football coach, and I was the offensive coordinator. So that's where my background originally started, although I spent most of my time on the defense side of the ball. I think young men are young men, and I think they're going to have different swag and different approaches to the game. I think defensively, you got to approach the game always with an edge. Offensively, I think you've got to play the game with the same type of edge. Although, sometimes it's just making sure you execute and get the ball moved around and go score touchdowns. And obviously, you get a receiver score a touchdown, he wants to celebrate maybe a little bit different than if your D lineman gets a sack. But at the end of the day, we're okay with that as long as they're making plays and having great energy and a great attitude. It just means that, and one of the things we say in our locker room is if one of us make a play, we all make a play. It ain't about bringing attention to myself. It's about making them play for the Pirates, and we'll certainly support that.
I'm going to ask you, we'll finish up here with 2 questions, one about the past and then one about the future. You talk about last year and some of the struggles you overcame. You thought you were going to have the first-round talent, Savon Revel, on your defense. He ends up getting hurt so early, still ends up a day 2 pick.
Yeah.
Have you talked to him about how things are going with the Cowboys and maybe what his NFL career started like?
Yeah, we spoke a couple of weeks ago, and he's just kind of still bouncing back and getting more and more involved every single day with the Cowboys there. Spoke to several of their coaches, and they're really excited about his future. And, he is a special talent, that's for sure. Just a guy that, we could put a lot of stress on, a lot of pressure on the corner position to play on the island. And he certainly makes it an easier game for a defensive play caller to call for sure.
And then last one here, you talked about all the new, right? You had to replace these guys that are in the ACC, the NFL, the Big 12. But you brought in some transfers as well, some freshmen. What newcomer are we going to be talking about, early on when we talk about ECU football and how the early parts of your season are going?
Yeah, so we got a couple. On the defensive side of the ball, we had 2 kids that had left and decided to come back, wanted to finish their career as Pirates. Came here in 2020, and just we had some tight bonds there previously, and then when I had a chance to take over, they wanted the opportunity to come back, and that's Xavier McGyver and Tegan Wilk. And I think they embrace this place. They embrace what Pirate Nation's about. They embrace our culture, and I knew they could help us from a leadership standpoint. So it was really good to add those guys to our defense, who's only returning 2 starters, but adding those 2 guys in, I feel like you're returning, bringing back 2 starters. And then on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's Jaquez Petaway, who's playing the slot for us right now. the Oklahoma transfer, 4-star recruit out of high school out of Dallas there. Has some speed, really good athletic, good ball skills. Looking forward to his year. I think he's going to have a big year for us.
There you go. Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach. Coach, I know it's a busy time of year for you, so thank you for making the time, and good luck this season.
Hey, thank you very much. Take care.
Once again, Blake Harrell, ECU head football coach, here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly. Like that. He's had to raise the voice a few times, but he likes the group. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Before we grab our numbers game contestants, I have to tell you all about the selection of statement luxury timepieces at Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. We're talking selection from Norcane, the official watch of the NHLPA and the NHL. We're talking pre-owned and vintage Rolex, largest selection in North Carolina. Pre-owned and vintage Cartier, having a moment. Those square dials or rectangular dials are really becoming something of a movement right now, even though they're some of the most classic watches out there. Hamilton's, you've seen them in movies. Timex, if you're looking for something a little more affordable. G-Shock, if you're looking for something ultra durable. Nomos, Glacute Original, and then of course they have the Omega entire boutique, which is one of the more visually enticing places that you can go and look at watches. They have the moon posters, wall hangings, whatever you want to call them, but inspired by the moon watch, right? The Speedmaster, the one that has been worn on the moon more than any other watch because NASA certifies it with the astronauts. If you're interested, you want to make a statement, feel free to give them a call. Feel free to follow them on Instagram at Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, or feel free to stop in the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location. Make sure they know you heard about it right here from me on 99.9 The Fan. We have the numbers game coming up next, a little later than usual, but we're still going to give you away something awesome. The winner will receive a pair of tickets to see Bryan Adams at the Lenovo Center on November 5th. So call in now if you want to play. 919-860-5326. We need two contestants. 919-860-5326 for the numbers game. Coming up next.
You've heard the perfect scores on air. We're bringing our champions to the stage. It's our second annual Numbers Game Live show, presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill. Perfect players will compete on August 21st at the fabulous Hilton Raleigh North Hills. Watch on YouTube as we crown a Numbers Game champ. Special thanks to On-Site AV, a full-service event production company, for lighting up Numbers Game Live.
You put sunscreen on when you go out in the sun. Did you know that the sun could hurt your car, too? It's true. Keep cool this summer and protect the interior from fading and cracking with a custom window tint from Soundstation and Security. The sun's harmful UV rays can also hurt your paint on the exterior. That's why Soundstation and Security offers custom ceramic coating. Think of it as a little sunscreen with Soundstation and Security. 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country. Here's the deal. There's nothing like Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and a great place to watch all the big games. Visit all 5 Triangle locations for great specials, including half-price pizzas Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6, and a $6 Bloody Mary on Sunday. Dine in, carry out, get it delivered. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. By the way, Numbers Game Live coming up this Thursday. We'll be starting around 7 o'clock. You can watch along on our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Look forward to interacting with you there. We might just hear your comments read on air. For right now, we have the numbers game featuring 2 contestants. For today, it'll be Chase and Bailey and Merrick and Durham. And one of them is going to walk away with Bryan Adams tickets. As always, I'll ask the same question to both. And Dennis will be the judge. He'll pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. Chase and Bailey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we've been talking. You're going to have to keep this PG, just so you know. Keep it radio friendly. We've been talking about the right amount. How much should a coach yell at players to keep them on their toes? Should they not? What would be the funniest thing a coach could call a player that made a mistake? Again, right? They just blew up a play. They ruined a practice rep. And that you blank. What would they yell? But, again, keep it out of the words that you can't say on radio.
Oh, man. Probably just a goober.
You goober. By the way, I'll wait until after Merrick gives his answer. I don't want to give anything away or impact the decision here. Merrick in Durham, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. What is the funniest thing a coach could yell at a player who just made a mistake, calling them a name? Keep it radio friendly, but they just ruined a practice rep. You blank. What is the funniest thing they could say?
I'd probably scream at him and say, "I can't believe I gave you a scholarship."
All right. Go right at their pocketbook. I like it. Right at their wallet. So, Dennis, the options are goober or I can't believe I gave you a scholarship.
I believe the correct answer is futon because you got folded like a futon. We got knocked down. I've heard that one before. I got to go goober on this one, I guess.
Goober. All right.
I'll go with goober on this one. This one's not an easy one.
Here's why I like goober. I think it is funnier when they are extremely, as serious as a heart attack, as mad as they've ever been, and they use a goofy term like goober, and when you're getting yelled at, it stings, but for everybody else, it's really funny. Our tight ends coach used to call everybody a meat stick. No idea why. But when he did, you felt like you were 2 inches tall, and everyone else was laughing. It's like, wait, how does that happen? He just sold it. One of my favorite coaches, by the way. All right, so Chase and Bailey gets to go first, and then Merrick, you'll go second. You just have to stay on hold there for a second. Chase, you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have NFL Heisman runners-up. They either finished second or third in voting for the Heisman. NFL ACC pros from 2010 to 2019, so they're in the NFL at some point in that time period, played their college in the ACC. NBA players that are exactly listed at 6 feet tall, no taller, no shorter, or NHL Hurricanes only?
Let's go Heisman runner-ups.
All right. These are all players that finished either second or third in Heisman voting. And to be clear, I'm looking for their number for the NFL team I give you, not the college team they were Heisman contenders with. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
6.
Correct. Mac Jones, New England Patriots.
10.
Correct. Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints.
9.
Correct. Amari Cooper, Buffalo Bills.
81.
Incorrect. Darren McFadden, Oakland Raiders.
20.
Correct. Amari Cooper, Buffalo Bills.
8.
Incorrect. Amari Cooper, Buffalo Bills.
18.
Correct. When you went 81, I was going, please flip it, please flip it. And, smoked it. There you go. That is a perfect score. Congratulations.
25 seconds.
25 seconds. The reason why 25 seconds is important is because Merrick still has to go. And if he gets a perfect score faster, he will be the winner. We have seen it done. Doesn't happen often, but double fives are awesome. So, Chase, go ahead and stay on the line. We'll see if your 25-second holds up. That brings us to Merrick and Bailey. Merrick, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You're going to have to go perfecto, faster than the previous contestant to win the tickets. Are you ready to pick a category?
Can I get hurricanes throughout history?
You absolutely can. I like not even hearing the options. You sound confident. I will give you the team and the player. Even though we know the team in this category, I will say it just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. I'll give you the team and the player. Okay. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You do need all 5. Faster than the previous contestant. Even if you don't get it faster, though, keep going. There's still benefits for getting a perfect score. Any questions before we get started?
No, he set the bar high, but I'm excited.
All right. I am excited as well. So excited I almost just choked there. With that being said, your time will start when you hear the horn. William Carrier, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Eric Robinson, Carolina Hurricanes.
19.
Incorrect. Justin Falk, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Correct. Eddie Lack, Carolina Hurricanes.
41.
Incorrect. William Carrier, Carolina Hurricanes.
14.
Incorrect. Eric Robinson, Carolina Hurricanes.
23.
Incorrect. Eddie Lack, Carolina Hurricanes.
42.
You were close with Lack. You went 41. We were looking for 31. So you were in the right neighborhood. Eric Robinson wore number 50. Wears number 50 for the Canes. Carrier 28 is what we were looking for.
I gotcha.
For those of you playing at home, Justin Falk also wore 28, so we would have accepted 27 or 28. You avoided the shutout. Unfortunately, not enough for the win. Hopefully, you had some good times, though.
Yeah, it was great time. I got cooked there, but that was fun.
I'm working very hard to not yell at you. Now you know why we didn't give you a scholarship. There you go. That's Merrick in Durham. Appreciate you. Chase and Bailey is the winner, though. Chase, you are not a goober. Perfect score. Congrats.
Thanks, sir.
Just in case you were thinking that got you invited to this week's perfect score competition, Numbers Game Live, no, it doesn't, because we turned the page already, so expect an invitation like a year from now. But congratulations, perfect score.
Thank you, sir. All those weekends paid off.
There you go. And, Brian Adams is tickets are on your way. Stay on the line so Dennis can grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize.
By the way, Chase won with former Heisman runner-ups. Now, Baker Mayfield did win a Heisman 2017, but he finished third in 2016.
That's the gotcha. Oh, yeah, we can pass along all that.
Yeah.
Mac Jones with the Patriots was third for Alabama in 2020. Remember when that random year happened where Mac Jones and Alabama ran over everybody? Crazy. Drew Brees at Purdue was third in 2000. I vividly remember, and I don't know why, him in college when they were going to the Rose Bowl, he had the rose in his mouth after they won the game to clinch going to the Rose Bowl. Not sure why I remember that, but I do, at Purdue. Amari Cooper, obviously Alabama wide receiver, was third in 2014. Has he signed anywhere yet? Is he still in the market? I'm not sure. Bounced around a little bit there. And Darren McFadden, back during his time with Arkansas, one of the best backfields in college football history. He and Felix Jones paired up. And I think Peyton Hillis may have been on that team as well. Don't quote me on that one. But he finished second in both 2006 and 2007 in Heisman voting. Obviously wildly impressive. Also kind of brutal to be a finalist and finish second twice. Kind of brutal there. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I did kind of talk about Numbers Game Live there, so I'll give you the details. The second annual Numbers Game Live show presented by Sharky's Place Sports Bar and Grill takes place this Thursday, August 21st, where all of the players that have scored perfect scores will get together, battle the clock and each other at Hilton Raleigh North Hills, a fabulous hotel for all your needs. You can watch, even if you're not a contestant, as we crown our champion live and battle it out on YouTube Live, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We encourage you all to join there. Jump in the comments. Dennis will be reading some of those comments during the event out to the contestants and things. So if you want to razz somebody, you want to congratulate somebody, you want to poke fun at one of your friends who is a contestant, feel free. Special thanks, by the way, to Onsite AV, a full-service event production company for supplying the sights and sounds of Numbers Game Live. August 21st is the day for all of that. Also, tomorrow, we will have Wolfpack Weekly at 7 o'clock. So you can hear from Dave Doran as he gets ready and gives you insight into NC State's preseason on the football field. And also tomorrow on our sister station, Buzz Sports Radio, you can hear Manny Diaz on Duke's coach's show. So both of those will be Wednesday, 7 o'clock on our family of networks. Look forward to those. And just like we look forward to the Numbers Game Live, just like we look forward to tomorrow's show, a Wednesday edition of The Drive with Tim Donnelly, which is something to always look forward to, right? So in the meantime, follow us on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. I'm told I always say follow when it's subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Like videos, share videos, comment on videos. We would greatly appreciate it. Check out the live streams. We're looking forward to interacting with you there. That's on YouTube. Just search 99.9 The Fan. Follow us on all social medias. Thank you to Blake Harrell, ECU head coach, for joining us. And thank you to all of you for the feedback frenzy contributions earlier today. It's always fun to hear from all of you, and that's part of why Numbers Game Live is going to be so fun. We'll get to hang out and interact with a bunch of you, which we don't get to do very often in person.
It's going to be a good time.
And next Thursday, we will be out at Carter Finley.
That's right.
For the Thursday opener for NC State. So stop out and see us then. Until tomorrow, enjoy your evening. We'll talk to you later.
The Adam Gold Show.
We all knew things were going to change when Will Wade got here. We saw the recruiting. We saw the work in the transfer portal. We see the energy of Will Wade. And then I looked at the non-conference schedule and I went, this is something we have never seen over the last 25 years at State for basketball. A non-conference schedule where there are as many losable games as there are easy wins. Good on you, Will.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent Trane dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping,